Okay, testing. 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right, should be muted. All right. So it should be working. Trying to let it get in. Facing windows. I can't see when I'm talking. Who did I interview? Romy. I interviewed Romy about 20 minutes. Oh, I just still recording me. So I'm gonna have to go and chop all this up. I'm talking to myself. Yeah, I'm fine. That is awesome. The technology sucks. Yeah. You can hear me, DJ?
Yo.
All right, cool. I love the setup, man.
Appreciate it, bro.
So sorry about that. Doggone technology, man. That's like, it wouldn't let me get in the meeting. And I was sitting here like, I'm ready. And when I had to go to my desktop to check the message, and he was like, I'm already sitting here. I said, oh God. So
it's all good. It's all good.
So,
I'm recording the audio on my end too, bro, just so to come in clean, and I'll shoot it to you once we're done, so you can, do whatever you need to do.
Oh man, see now I wish someone was telling me to record my end of my audio. But I was like, nah. I'm using the my webcam audio, but I need a mixer to hook up to my computer because I have an interface, but the interface doesn't necessarily hook up to. It hooks up to the computer, but not the actual computer.
So I'm gonna show you what I got, bro. I got this little situation right here.
Gotcha.
It's called the Zoom R16, and you can plug it up. It's battery operated as well. It's portable. It takes 1/4 inch and XLR. Got 8 inputs to it. You can record directly into an SD card, throw it onto a digital audio workstation, whatever. Matter of fact, that video I sent you when we did 106 in Park, I was using this to run the click tracks for TV, and the guys at BET were going nuts because they didn't see nothing like it. And I was telling them that it's portable, but it was like, man, we about to go order 2 of them right now.
Really? That's crazy. So it's a Zoom. Hold on, let me write this down. You said it's a Zoom.
Zoom R16. I mean, this is an older model. They got newer versions, but I mean, I've had it now for over 10 years, and it's been lovely, bro.
So basically, you record.
I do everything. I record my mixes. What's that?
I said, so it's hooked up not to the computer, but it's hooked up to the actual.
Yeah, so I've got your audio coming in as well on a different channel. Then I got my vocals coming in, so I'll send you the whole situation. You can do whatever you want to. Everything will be in different, have its own separate file. Yeah, and it records WAV files, so it comes in real good, bro. Like I do everything with this thing. My mixes, my live shows, the whole shebang, bro. And it's got like built-in microphones. You know what I'm saying? Like it's super dope, bro.
I'm about to get that because when I'm running my my internet show, I just run it through the interface. And if you touch the interface, everything goes out. So you got to kind of like be in one spot. So I need to upgrade that. So that way, you know, and then if I want to have people over, if I want to do phone interviews, I can't because it's only one track. So I'm definitely looking to invest in that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it'll be a great investment, bro.
Oh man, yeah, man. So we're gonna get into this, man. Again, thank you, DJ P-Dogg, for just responding back to me, man, and really, you know, doing the interview because you know people can be kind of flaky, and it's like, yo, you gonna do an interview? Like, yeah, bro, I got you. What time? Yeah, and then you hit them up like, what's up? The interview? They're like, you know, they won't hit you back. So it's a, you know, definitely is an honor to talk with you.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what caught me, bro, and I don't know if you want to record this or not. I don't care. It's whatever.
Okay.
I've already hit record, so we're live.
Yeah.
Come back and do the intros and whatnot.
Yeah.
But you said something that, and certain things, because I don't have the time and the bandwidth. I got 4 kids, bro. I'm homeschooling all 4 of my kids. Yeah. My wife is still working. She's not even home yet. She's on the way. She had a long day at the office. So whenever I give my time to anything, it's like, okay, this is like, I want this to mean something. You know what I'm saying? So when you said that you were asking me like, how much do I charge for mixes? I said, oh shoot, like this guy is throwing up the dollar signs. Let me see what's popping. Yeah. And then I just started digging from there. You know, I mean, I'm full time in this, so you know, I got to make money. Yeah. You know, as best I can. But you know, as we talked and as I did my own research, because listen, I had to look you up too, brother. Listen, I don't, you know. And so when I'm asking you these questions, and it was good for me to ask you these questions, even though we don't know each other. We met today.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the other day, man, me and my wife, we were taking a walk, and I was like, man, like I'm about to do this Christian hip hop throwback mix, and I'm putting this mix together, bro. And I'm like a fan again. Like I'm listening to these records from 2000 to about 2016. So 16 years, I'm listening to all these records and a flood of memories are coming back from when I was doing radio, when I was talking to these guys, when these guys were up and coming, like cats like Flame and JR and all these cats who nobody knew who these guys were. They were coming on my radio show. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, that's what I need to get back to. And I'm glad that it kind of, you know, I was trying to figure out, am I supposed to be involved with Christian hip hop? And I've always said I want to be involved in some capacity. I just don't know. I can't be involved in the same capacity that I was in before because of everything that went down. And we could kind of dig into that in the interview. But one of the things that I came to the conclusion of is I want to pour into these new cats that are coming up, the new radio guys, like I got so many DJs, bro, who are in Christian hip hop and producers that have been rocking with me since way back, who were following me before they even had a name. You know what I'm saying? And these cats are looking at me like I'm the OG, and I'm like, nah, man, like, you know. And I think I've had to kind of, at this point, step back and say, let me take my spot. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to be in the limelight, bro, because that, you know, I don't need that. I'm not in that season of life. Okay, I got 4 kids. I'm 38 years old, bro. I'm an old man. Okay, a lot of people don't know that I'm that age because I don't look it. And when I'm on stage and I'm doing what I'm doing, I definitely don't act like I'm 38.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's this is the spot that I'm in. I want to give back and I want to pay it forward. And I've got to remember the guys who did it for me. Bro, you know who my first radio interview was? My show hadn't even started yet, okay? I went to Liberty University, and I don't want to listen. Let me say this too. I've got a tendency of being long-winded, bro, and I've got tons of stories. I got it. So I don't know how many parts you want to make this. I don't know how long you want to make this. Whatever, we could come back and talk some more. Whatever you want, bro. But my first interview, bro, I was at Liberty University. It was the summertime, summer of 2003, and my show was starting in the fall. And there were camps on the campus that were bringing in artists. And one of the artists they brought in was KJ52. Okay. And so I went to the guy and said, hey, listen, I'm starting a brand new hip hop show on the campus doing Christian hip hop. And I think KJ52 will be a great interview to kind of help kick off my show. And the guy said, well, let me talk to KJ, blah, blah, blah. Bro, KJ walked with me to the radio station. Didn't know me from nothing, bro. You understand what I'm saying? Didn't know me from nothing. There was no DJ P-Dogg radio guy. I was a brand new cat on the scene. And this dude came and sat with me in the radio station for like an hour and a half. He gave me the time of day. He chatted. And he's a good friend of mine to this day. I mean, I've done shows with him. You know, we've traveled together. We've done tours together, the whole 9 yards. But it's cats like him. And one of the lessons that he taught me was he said, listen, always be that guy that gives back. You know what I'm saying? And I said, man, like, you've given so much to me and my family. There's no way I can't be that guy as well. So I'm excited to be here with you, bro. At this point, I'm going to let you take over and do your thing. And I'm going to be the interviewee tonight.
hey, brother. Hold on, Jimmy, 1 second. Somebody on the phone? Let me cut the phone on. All right, cool. You should. 90 viewers. Oh, okay, that's it. All right, so we're gonna get into this, man. Like I said, I told my wife about the interview. She's excited. I'm just gonna let you talk, and you know what I'm saying. When somebody, here's what I realized: when somebody that has wisdom and knowledge about a situation that you've been trying. I only been following Christian hip hop since 2012 when I got saved. Okay. You know, and before then, I remember the first tape my grandma gave me. It was like in 06, 07, whatever. It was like this local guy. He was jacking beats. So he took some beats, he flipped them, and made them like Christ-like beats. I was like, it was cool, but I wasn't in that season, you know? And then even when I was saved, I was like, this was corny. And then I heard like Dre Murray's and Wilt's Hell Paradise. And I was like, oh, wow, this is kind of dope. And then that's when Collision was starting to really take off. And that's when Lecrae dropped Church Clothes. Because at first I was like, man, Lecrae, because, you know, I'm an artist too. You know, that's one thing that I started. I mean, I still do music, but more so I found that me being a personality has really blossomed into actually doing more things versus being an artist. Yeah. So when I heard of Lecrae, I was like, man, Lecrae, this Christian rap dude, I'm gonna come in and take over the game. But then when I got into it, I was like, Lecrae is kind of bigger than what I thought he was, you know? For real, I was like, oh, okay. And then it was a movement then. And then I was like, oh, snap. So I was like,
you came right at the height of the whole situation. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It was, I never seen nothing like it. And then that's when Rapzilla was popping. And that's when a lot of guys was making a lot of money. And I mean, scalable. I'm not saying it was millionaires, but at the same time, you could sell 4,000 or 5,000 records.
It wasn't as much as people think it was, bro. and I think talking about that is gonna be big too. I'm looking at an article you did. I think this is your right. Yeah, you wrote this. Is Christian hip hop a genre?
Yeah.
And I love your insight, and I want you to interview me.
Gotcha.
I do have a question about this.
Okay, go ahead.
How did you, well, I guess you kind of answered it. You were an artist.
Yeah.
So you've gotten a lot of your insight by kind of getting out there as an artist as well, right?
Absolutely. Getting out there, being an artist, getting the door shut in my face. And then I saw where it was almost like a community within a community. So what I've seen over the years from 2012 to now is that you have this I call it almost like the walls of Jericho, where you have this inner community of Christian hip hop, and you have a select few of guys that are quote unquote chosen as CHH artists, based off a certain platform, and then you have the outside rim where everybody else kind of resign, and every so often somebody kind of comes in that's kind of the chosen one, but because of the way Christian hip hop is consumed now and streaming killed it, in my opinion. It's not how it was when I first saw it, where if you could get on the site, a lot of churches will start booking you or whatever, and your name will start getting out there. Yeah. Now, since churches are not really booking CHH artists no more, in that limelight, and then we got the coronavirus now, so nobody's getting booked. You know what I'm saying? So now it's like, it's almost back to where I saw. I only done research about this, so I don't know. So you can, when we interview, you can kind of enlighten me on this. To me, how it was in like the 2000s and in the 90s or whatever, it was a lot more underground. You know what I'm saying? Where cats did it literally for like a ministry. And the shows that they would get or something they would do would be off of strength of what they're trying to do for the Lord. And not because they got a contract, and the contract has I can't even say the word right now, but basically, you know, guarantee, and, you know, you get the green room, you know. So a writer, yeah, thank you, babe. A writer, so.
Yeah. So let me let you start the interview, or have we already started? Are we officially started?
I'm doing my little spiel, and then we'll go from there. But I'm gonna use all this. So
yeah, let's go and get started, and we can hop right into it, bro.
All right, cool.
But give me 1 second. I got one of my little dudes in here. Give me 1 second.
All right, huh? No, you fine. No, Joy, come on. Yeah, I got it. Let me see. Give me 1 second. I'm about to go ahead and hook my audio up. I don't know if I can do it real quick. I think I can.
They don't worry about it. He said he's gonna do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'll probably be cleaner anyway.
It may be. Yeah, it probably will be. I'm not sure. I'm recording from the thing. All right. So, P-Dogg, you ready?
I'm ready, bro.
All right, cool. What's going on, fam? It's the entertainer, the motivator, the educator, Lucky Murray here, and I got a really great interview. We've been chopping it up off the camera, and I'm excited. I hope you're excited. Man, by chance, I was on Instagram searching for people, artists or whatever, and this brother right here came up, and I saw that he's doing a CHH throwback show. And I was like, oh, let me see how much he charges for mixes, because, you know, I run a internet radio station that plays Christian hip hop music. So I hit him up, and then this morning we started chopping it up, and then he started dropping gems on me. And I was like, oh snap, we gotta do this, we gotta record this interview, whatever. So this is the one, the only DJ P-Dogg. Man, when I tell you, if you don't know his name, the connection that he has, I'm telling you, man, he's gonna break some stuff down that's like, I was like, when he was texting this stuff to me, I was on my computer, like, I couldn't take it. I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is crazy. So I want to introduce DJ P-Dogg. DJ P-Dogg, how you doing today, sir?
Bro, first of all, I'm excited to be here with the entertainer, the motivator, and the educator himself.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I got to tell you, bro, I pride myself off of bringing people onto my show and giving them the big introduction. I got to tell you, bro, that's like top 10, easy, that I've ever had.
Oh, man.
Which is really probably more like a top 5, because a lot of people don't interview me, bro. Oh. I've only had like a handful of people actually interview me ever in this thing. I've interviewed a billion people, bro. But so I'm excited to be on this side of the mic, bro. But I'm excited to be here with you, bro, and I'm appreciative that you reached out. Now, a lot of people have no idea who I am, and you are one of those people. As of this morning,
Yeah,
facts. Who I was, and that's okay. That's okay. So let me, if I may, allow me to reintroduce myself. You may. So I've been a part of the Christian hip hop world. Man, probably since one as a fan, like the late '90s. So I'm going way back. And again, my brother, I don't want to be long-winded. So please hit me with the timeout, hit me with the pause, something, if I get too long-winded here.
The floor is yours, brother. I mean, the floor is yours, So how have you said? Like I said today, I told my wife about it. Everything else, the kids in bed, so we can make it happen, brothers. Go ahead.
Yeah, so back in the 90s, I was part of it. And then sometime around 2000, I thought that I was going to be a rapper. And so I started rapping, and that lasted for about a year and a half. And then I went to Liberty University in Lynchburg, Virginia, back in 2002. And I remember there was a speaker who was there speaking. His name is Chris Williamson, a very good friend of mine now. He used to be a part of a Christian rap group from way back in the day called Transformation Crusade. And if anybody's a gospel head out there, there's an amazing gospel group, my favorite group, music group of all time, all genres, a group called Commission. And Commission had Transformation Crusade on a record called King of Glory, one of their big records. And so I'm at Liberty University in 2002. I'm listening to this guy speak, and he says that he used to be with Transformation Crusade. I'm like, oh, snap. Like he rapped with my favorite group of all time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he was talking about how he was at Liberty. He was a Liberty student back in the day during the era of the DC Talk, Toby Mac, and all those cats. And he was saying like how the school put him on scholarship to do hip hop ministry at Liberty University. Okay. 2 weeks later, there was a group at the school called the Sword Dunk Team. And they were like, man, we're looking for a DJ. And we're looking for somebody with some turntables because we're trying to fill in this spot. We want this certain look and blah, blah, blah. And a friend of mine was like, hey, why don't you go out to the trial? You love music. You got all the records. Like at that time, I had every Christian hip hop album out, Cross Movement, Grits, whatever, you name it, I had it. And I said, okay, I don't have no turntables, but I'll show up. So I show up to the tryout, bro. And guess how many people at the tryout, bro?
I mean,
one.
What?
I'm the only one. I'm the only person that showed up to the tryout. Okay. The guy looks at me and says, listen, bro, you're the only one here. You're clearly interested. You got turntables? I'm like, nah, I don't have it. He said, listen, you go buy your set of turntables. We'll give you a scholarship to Liberty, $1,000 a semester, plus your travel, all expenses paid, this, that, and whatever. I had like $400 to my name. I spent $300 of that on my first set of turntables, and that was 17 years ago, and here we are. And I'm still rocking this thing. So in that journey, I got to travel. I got to do some cool things, bro. I'm saying like my first year with the team, we were at the Verizon Center doing an event called the Jordan Capital Classic, which is like a high school all-star basketball game. And it was a big game because it was the last high school game of this up-and-coming high school kid that's going to take the NBA by storm. This cat named LeBron James. This is his last high school game. And I'm standing in this arena filled with people. Jordan is there. Patrick Ewing is there. LeBron James is there. And I'm like, this is insane. Like, I went there on a whim to this tryout, and now here I am in the Verizon Center. You know what I'm saying? Writing for these dudes. And listen, when I was DJing, bro, I was playing, Cross Movement. I was playing the Petty D's and what have you, if those names even mean anything to a lot of you. I'm taking it way back. But it was crazy because the artists that were coming behind us was Ludacris and Bow Wow. And here we are on this stage, this big arena filled with people, major people. We're pushing Christian hip hop, you know what I'm saying, out the speaker. So it was crazy. So, fast forward, I did radio, got into radio, and through radio, I got to meet some amazing artists, up and coming cats at that time, like Lecrae and Flame. Had Cross Movement on my show, brought them to Liberty a couple of times. A lot of traveling. KJ52's been on there. I mean, you just about name any, at this point, any old head in Christian hip hop, I've had him on my show. Wow. You name them. I mean, give me a, come on, Lucky, give me a try here, bro.
I'm gonna give you, so you probably had most of Reach Records on there, like
I've had everybody.
Dashi.
Oh yeah, so I've had everybody from Reach, with the exception of their current new roster.
Gotcha. So you had the Show Barakas.
Oh, me? Yeah.
And then you had Derek Minor, probably when he was pro. Cannon, of course.
Yep.
Did you have the whole Reflection Music group with him, Tony Tillman?
Yep.
So who he had? They had what was my name? They had signed. I forgot his name. Oh gosh, I forget his name. Huh?
So after I was done traveling with that group, the Sword Dunk team, I started traveling with another hip hop artist named Humble Tip. We started out at Liberty, and we started traveling together. And then after I was done with him, I started traveling with Lecrae and Reach Records. So everybody that was on that roster from the 2010s to, again, I worked with everybody on that roster except for their current new wave of guys. So like What Up RG. I've done a few small little things with 1K Few. Not a whole lot to say I've done something. Wande, I haven't done anything with her. But everybody else, from Lecrae, Tadashi, Show Baraka, KB, Andy Mineo, Derek Minor, all those cats. I've done stuff with Flame, Thizzle, R. Swift. The list goes on. Ambassador from Cross Movement. I've DJed for all these guys, over the years. And so I've seen and heard a lot, bro.
And the crazy thing is that you came in with a time where Christian hip hop was different. It was more so theology based, where you had to be heavy in scripture. There was, and this is for me just doing research. There were crews that went and rock with crews depending on what theology that you saw. So if y'all didn't agree eye to eye theologically wise, y'all wasn't doing no music. You weren't taking secular beats from anybody. Talk a little bit about that time when you came in and how Christian hip hop was just so different at that particular time. And then you also was following the time in the late 90s where, you know what I'm saying? It was like they were still in the wilderness at that time.
Yeah, man. So I'll bring it to what I would consider to be the cross movement era. Okay. And so back then you had two main groups at that time. You had the East Coast boom bap cats. So that's the cross movement. Everybody, from Philly to New Jersey, New York, you had those cats. Then you had these cats on the West Coast, like the Gospel Gangsters and T-Bone. Yeah. Okay. So those guys, and, they were doing music, and a lot of their music was, like if you listen to some of their stuff, it's a little bit more, kind of carved out into that Pentecostal charismatic world. Whereas these Philly cats, these cross movement dudes and these New York dudes, they were more into that Reformed theology, mindset and in that lane. One of the forerunners of that squad being the Ambassador, who was a graduate of Dallas Theological Seminary. And if you know anything about that, it's like one of the most prestigious seminaries in the Reform, the modern Reformation movement. And so you had these different worlds, and yes, theology was a major piece. Then fast forward into the mid 2000s, you got down south movement that's popping off. So you got cats like Canton Jones, Mr. Dell, and all those cats coming up. And at that time, they were more rooted into another theology, which we would call more so like that prosperity gospel stuff. So you got this concoction, bro, of these different areas. And yes, there were some times where yes, dudes would not perform with other crews. I don't want to put too much of that out there because I got stories for days, bro. But nonetheless, yeah, and it was that serious to where there was almost like a line in the sand that was drawn. So you've got that going on, okay? But then you've got this other piece that's going on too, because at that time, a lot of the rappers, like you said, were getting into churches and whatnot. But then you had this big movement that came out of Dallas called the XEX Ministries. This cat named G. Craig Lewis had a whole movement about hip hop is the devil.
Oh God!
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I remember that. That scared the crap out of me when I was a teenager. Yeah.
Yeah. So I want your listeners to follow me here, because you got to understand this history and to show where we are today, because it all makes sense, and I'm gonna tie it all up here in a second. So you've got these different theological movements going on. So you've got that beef going on, right?
Yeah.
Then you got this guy coming in, making this huge wave through the church scene, telling people like, stop bringing these Christian rappers to your church, this, that, and whatever. There ain't no such thing as no holy hip hop, and that and this and what and this and that. And one of the main reasons why this guy was successful, bro, is because even though Christian hip hop would at that time be considered like a church thing, hip hop in and of itself didn't start in the church. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so a lot of people who were like, I remember my parents, you know, coming to me saying, "Oh, you doing this hip hop thing? Okay, that'll pass over. That's just a phase." And then they're listening to different people that, the people that created hip hop are into witchcraft. And I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, they call wizards and this, that. So listen, okay, you ready for this, Lucky?
I'm ready, bro.
If you research hip hop, okay, the guy who invented the scratch, and I encourage anybody who says you're into Christian hip hop, go learn about the foundations of hip hop itself, okay? And I'm gonna put that as a footnote, because all that's gonna tie into everything that we're talking about as well. The guy who invented the scratch, bro, is a DJ by the name of Grand Wizard Theodore. So these guys back in those days had these big lofty names like African Bambaataa or Grandmaster Flash. You know what I'm saying? So when somebody hears the word like wizard, automatically witchcraft. You know what I'm saying? And so it's so you have uneducated people who are already on the fence, church people, okay, going back to this, who are already on the fence of how do we accept this Christian hip hop thing? I don't know. The young people are digging it. They're talking about the Lord. But then this guy comes and says, no, X it all out. Well, we was already on the fence, and he just kind of pushed them over the fence. So you've got, and here's the thing, and this is very important. A lot of that was happening predominantly in the black churches. Okay?
Gotcha. Yeah.
So now you've got Christian hip hoppers who are like, well, dag, we wanted to do this thing because one, we love the culture of hip hop. We want to do it in the church. We want to do it for the youth. But now the black churches aren't really accepting us. Where do we go? Okay?
Yeah.
Now, rewind, Dallas Theological Seminary, that's a predominantly white school. They got one of the biggest names in Christian hip hop at that time, the ambassador, going to that school. Okay? So when you kind of get that, and I'm not saying that this is what happened, but I'm saying I'm sure it played a part, right?
Yeah.
When you've got a school like that that's like, yes, because G. Craig, they ain't hearing G. Craig, okay? This is Dallas Theological Seminary. Yeah. If you're preaching the gospel through your music, and it's of orthodoxy or whatnot, we are with it, and so. You've got this being pushed now, and now the consumers of Christian hip hop is now predominantly white people. Okay, so you've got that. Now on the other side, you've got, like I said, my man who came from Liberty, was a part of DC Talk, Toby Mac. He started a record label called Goatee Records. Okay, and Goatee Records had a lot of artists on there. And they had some Christian hip hoppers, cats like Nota Verbs and Grits. More notably is Grits. You heard their music on MTV, VH1, BET, whatever, back in the day. Okay, so what they were doing was crazy. But Toby Mac's audience was a predominantly CCM white audience, right?
Yeah.
And so now Christian hip hop is being consumed by predominantly white culture, Not saying that's a bad thing. However, again, if you understand hip hop in and of itself started as a voice for the voiceless, right?
Yeah.
It started out for, people telling stories to their music. So when you hear like, it was all a dream, I used to read Word Up magazine, so deep in the limb, you're hearing those lyrics, you hear people telling their stories. You know what I'm saying? And that's what hip hop was all about. It was like the news of the hood, what was going on in the South Bronx and in the Queens and, in those areas, in the boroughs, and then over on the West Coast, what was happening during the Reaganomics and the crack epidemic and whatnot. This is how they're getting the news out of what's going on in their hoods and whatnot. That's hip hop, right? That's a part of hip hop culture. Also a part of hip hop culture is the outcasts, people who, were not down with the disco era, trying to figure out how to do all this. And hip hop started with the DJs. Got to say that. Got to send big shout out to the one and only Mr. Cool Herc. Always got to do that, because without him, bro, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. Grandmaster Flash, I wouldn't have 2 Technique 1200s. Like, these guys are the pioneers. And so, yeah, so to kind of bring it all back where we are here with Christian hip hop. So you've got this movement that's happening. And I want to address one of the things that you said, and I think this kind of plays a part into it as well, about the individuals who seem like to be the chosen ones, right?
Yeah.
And so let me tell you where that comes from. It's a music thing in general, okay? And I tell artists this all the time, and it took me to actually get into that world of being in there, in the trenches, at the offices in Atlanta with Reach Records, to see how this thing really, 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 really works, right? So when I started seeing how the business side of all this works, I said, okay, this ain't just me picking up the phone, calling the local youth group, say, hey, can you bring me in a rap for $50? Like, I'm watching how the music industry is working. And one of the beautiful things that these guys did is they created a fan base. And when you create a fan base, you're able to monetize off of that fan base. You know what I'm saying? And their fan base was based off of a movement, 116, Romans 1:16, unashamed of the gospel. Through that, they just blew up. And a lot of people don't even know this, bro. Like, Lecrae, before these cats was big, man, actually, Lecrae he wasn't even trying to be a rapper. This dude made real talk because he wanted people to hear his beats. Because he made beats. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He just wanted, these cats were rapping for underprivileged kids out in Missouri at a camp called Kids Across America. You know what I'm saying? That's how I got to know him, because cats from Liberty used to go out there as counselors and would come back to me and say, hey, you heard of this guy Lecrae? I'm like, the heck is a Lecrae? Is that his real name? Like, what is that?
Yeah.
So yeah, man, there's a lot. There's a lot. And I hope that, I don't even remember what the question was, but yeah.
No, we can definitely piggyback off that, because I think that what G. Craig Lewis did, because like I said, I was a teenager when somebody's like, yo, hip hop's for the devil. We was like, what? They was like, watch this. You know what I'm saying? And for somebody that's uneducated, me, I'm a rapper. I said, oh God, am I going to hell? And I wasn't even saved like that then.
Yeah.
And it for me, it seemed like, now getting into Christian hip hop, that took the relationship between Christian hip hop and the Black church back 10 to 15 years, because a lot of those different gosh, what's the word I'm looking for? Those different ideologies that G. Craig Lewis implanted. And a lot of the gatekeepers now, they go off like that. Like, we don't really need to be rocking with Christian hip hop. And with CCM, they grabbed it. So you saw the shift. And then, like you said, a lot of these guys were just rapping just to, do it for the Lord and not really get nothing back from it.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about the business side behind it, because a lot of, I have a lot of independent artists that want to get into this thing and they want to make money from it. And they see people like Lecrae, Triple E, and Minio, Ilzo, Flame. They see these cats and be like, oh man, if only I can do what they do. So talk a little bit about a little bit about the business side of it, and then kind of explain from your perspective how an illusion can happen where, you know, it's not what it actually seemed to be.
Yeah, so with anything, you know, one thing that these artists need to realize, bro, is that they're not just artists. And I think that was one of the biggest problems that I ran into myself, because I've played so many different roles in this music thing in general. Like I've been the artist that I've sent out to be booked. I've been the promoter where I would book artists to come in and pay them money to come in and whatnot. I would book festivals. You know what I'm saying? I was a road manager at one point for some of the Reach guys. You know, so I've played so many different roles. And I think in all that, it comes down to, guys, you're not just artists. You're a business. And if you don't look at yourself and conduct yourself as a businessman, I think Jay-Z said it best. He said, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. You know what I'm saying? Like he himself is a business. And I think every artist needs to realize that they're a business. When I was behind those curtains and I'm watching how Lecrae is moving, okay? And then I'm watching, okay, let me see what Andy's doing. And what's KB doing? What's Tadashi doing? And all these guys were conducting business differently. And this is why you see how Lecrae just kind of lapped these guys, you know, 2-3 times over, because he was conducting business a different way. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Even though they were all under the same label. And I think that's another delusion rather. If I get to Reach Records, I'm gonna make it. Yeah. And the reality of it is, bro, that's not the truth. You know what I'm saying? One of the best new cats that's out right now, you may know him. His name is Aaron Cole. Yeah. And I remember doing a show with Lecrae, and Aaron was there, and he was trying to get Lecrae's demo. And I grabbed the demo, and I said, man, let me check this dude out. So me and him, you know, I listened to it and said, man, this dude is pretty nice. He's not amazing, but he's okay. Yeah. And then we started chopping it up. He was like, yeah, man, I'm only 14. I was like, 14? Holy smokes, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, that changes everything. Because you're a child. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got some room, bro. And I remember, you know, me and Cole were chopping it up. And I remember one day he hit me up. He'll probably kill me if I tell this story, but he sent me a DM one day and was like, yo, bro, when you gonna put me on? I'm like, put you on to what? Like, put me on with Reach Records. And I was like, bro, it don't work like that, man. It don't work like that. And I was trying to help him understand, like, even if Reach Records do pick you up, bro, you still gotta work your butt off. Yeah. One of the hardest working dudes that I've seen that have like come up from the bottom to the top real fast, bro, was Andy Mineo. But I saw this guy work, bro. Like, dude was working, bro. Like, I remember we did our first tour with Andy, and I've known Andy eons, bro. I got demos in my inbox from early 2000s where he was C-Light and Alex Medina, you know, one of the guys who used to produce for Reach back in the day, was sending me demos from C-Light, you know, asking them to get them played on my show. And when he came out, you know, as Andy Mineo, right before Formerly Known had dropped, we went on a tour with Lecrae called the Rehab Tour. And I remember working with Andy. He had his set, man. He was ready, and I was DJing for that tour. And so I was DJing for him, and Thizzle was with us as well. And Thizzle was like, dude, this dude, Andy, is beast. He's like, I got to go watch his show every night because it don't get old. I said, bruh. I said, dude, like he was being brought out on that tour as like a pre-show act, okay? And he was killing it. The next year with Reach, he had dropped the full-length album, and he came out as an opening act, okay? The next year, he was co-headliner, okay? I watched this man work his butt off. Like, if anybody knows Andy Mineo's been following, like, the Saturday morning cartoons. Yeah. All that was all him, bro. That was all him. That wasn't the label. That was all him. This man worked. We would be out on tour, and we would be stopping in the city, and I was like, yo, Andy, where you going, bro? He's like, yo, man, I got to go write this album. you know, go in the hotel room. This dude got the whole situation set up to a makeshift. He working. You know what I'm saying? Like I saw dudes, you know, there were cats who were hanging out, you know, and rightfully so. But I saw a dude working. And so you've got to work and grind. And that's what I was telling Aaron Cole. And then I brought him out to do some shows with me because I was doing some of my solo stuff at that time. And I would say, hey, man, come out. Let me bring you out and kind of help get your name out there a little bit out here at Liberty and whatnot. And he came out, man, real humble dude. And I remember having this long conversation. I think he recorded, his dad recorded it and posted it up on YouTube of me just kind of sharing those nuggets. Like, you've got to take care of your own business. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just have to. If you think because you get on the front page of Rapzilla, okay, and I've been rocking with Rapzilla since day one, okay, when Rapzilla was a yellow site, okay, I'm talking about when my man Phil Rude was going by the name DJ Zilla. That's how far back I go with Rapzilla.
Nuggets right here, people.
Okay.
Nuggets right here. DJ Zilla.
DJ Zilla, you know, shout out to my man Phil Rude. He's no longer with Rapzilla. He sold it off, but he was a kid, bro. He was a child, dude. He was like, gosh, man, I'm probably gonna get his age wrong. He had to be no more than 16 when he started Rapzilla.com. Okay, he was a kid from Belgium, bro. He was living in Belgium. He wasn't even over here in the States.
Wow.
Okay, and that's how far back I go with Rapzilla. But my point being, that's not the promised land. And a lot of people think, if I get on Rapzilla, if I get the attention of a Reach Records, then I've made it. And it's like, no, bro. There's a lot of guys that a lot of you guys haven't heard of. I'm probably one of them that's out here making a pretty decent living doing this hip hop thing, and you don't see us plastered on Rapzilla.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
you've got to take care of business. You got to know, okay, find out what's your niche, and stick to a plan. Like, know what your why is. Why are you doing it? Okay. So back in the day when we were doing it, and I'm talking about even Lecrae and all these guys, a lot of us was like ministry over industry. You know what I'm saying? Ministry. We'll do it for free. You know, we were young and, you know, we were fresh out of college, in college. We didn't know any better, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's good to have that as the why. But the reality of it is you can be ministry minded and business minded at the same time, and they work hand in hand to make much of Jesus and put him on display, because it's just a business. You know what I'm saying? Like if I said, man, I want to go sell cell phones, okay, it's still a business. You know what I'm saying? I think one of the biggest reasons why I had to step away from Christian hip hop for a while is because you had all these arguments going on, bro. You had the theology arguments going on. You had is hip hop a Christian thing? Can it be? You had that argument going on. But then you had these new arguments that were coming out where guys were denouncing the name Christian hip hop and just calling themselves hip hoppers. I'm a hip hopper that's a Christian. I'm a Christian rapper that's who cares, bro? At the end of the day, it's all about the heart of the issue. And even in that, it's about the why. Like, why are you switching up now? Are you switching up to look a certain way to certain people? Because if that's the case, then you may need to check why you're doing it. If you're doing it for business purposes, but you're still keeping your why the same, nothing is changing with your methodology or or not so much methodology, but your theology is still the same, where you're making much of the cross, but you're just changing up the methodology. Okay, as long as your theology still has a heavy influence on your methodology, I'm okay with it. You know what I'm saying? And those are conversations that I was having one-on-one with Lecrae pre-church close. Okay? Where I was asking him those questions like, hey, man, you putting out articles and shooting out tweets saying this ain't going to be for your regular fan base. What you trying to do, bruh? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Then he's got Don Cannon, you know, who's a secular DJ coming on the joint. And I'm like, okay, bro, what is this? You know what I'm saying? And we sat down and had those conversations. My biggest regret, and I'm sure, I don't know if Lecrae will feel the same way, and that's okay if he doesn't. This is just my personal opinion. I think things would have been a lot different for him if he would have kind of walked his fan base a little bit better through that transition. Because if you weren't in that inner circle, it was kind of like, bro, wait a minute, you taking a hard right. We all still trying to go left. You making a hard right. You leaving us in the wind. What's going on? You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, the theology was still the same.
Yeah.
It was just the methodology had changed. And it changed so drastically that it took a lot of people by surprise. And a lot of people don't even know this, but Sho Baraka kind of started all this stuff, you know, even before Lecrae jumped on that bandwagon. You know, because I was there when Sho left, when he left the record label, because it affected me personally. Not because I was hurt or anything. It affected me because I was DJing for this brother a lot. And so when he left Reach, he wasn't getting booked that much. So I'm like, bro, what you doing, bro?
Wow.
Give me 6 months, bro. Let me get 6 months.
Wow. and you spoke and for me, like I said, I followed Christian hip hop in 2012. In 2012, that's when everything blew up. So I had to go back in time to hear Lecrae, the Real Talks, the After the Music Stops, the Rehabs, the Rebels, you know, and the Rehab Overdose. And you do, and I don't want to make this interview about Lecrae because I know a lot of people, they want to find something to knock Lecrae down on. But you mentioned something that I found interesting, the fact that that Lecrae moved in a certain way as far as his business sense. I have a lot of artists who I reach out to and also reach out to me. And the first thing I notice is that they don't put money into their craft, or they're not really hard workers at all. They may release one song, put it out, pay whatever blog site to host it there, and that's it. You know, you can't even get them to share the post. It's like, dude, it's free, just share it. So talk a little bit about the mindset of, working and what it looks like so that these artists that may look at this can say, hey, man, am I even cut out for this work?
Yeah, and it's a marathon, not a sprint. Let me say that off top, bro. Like you, with any business, right? You're not going to go in the first year and make a profit. It takes you maybe 3 to 5 years to be able to sustain, you know, your regular way of living, depending on the business. You know what I'm saying? Like some people may get lucky or whatnot. I remember talking to a cat by the name of Chad Horton. I don't know if you know who Chad is. He actually owns Rapzilla.
Absolutely.
Now, he used to be, at the time him and I were chatting, he used to be a part of a record label called Syntax Records. And Syntax, man, they were doing big things. Their artists was all over the place. They were like a Goatee Records from a business model standpoint to a degree. Anyways, I'm talking to Chad one day about one of the dudes that I was working with. Just like you're asking me, I'm asking him that same question. He was saying it's the same thing. You can't put all your eggs in one basket. Like you can't just pay for one set of promotion and think that's going to be it. Like it takes a lot of money to promote a project to see a return. Now this was back then. This is when people were still buying CDs, right?
Yeah.
So now that is a thing of the past, you've got to figure out how do you fit in this new music model, okay? And I could go on and on and on, but what I would rather do is I'd rather give you guys some resources. And so I'm going to drop a couple of names, and I'll shoot you this in email, bro, so you can post it up to your people and whatnot. But there's some free resources out there. You've got blogs.sonicbids.com. They got, I mean, you could just camp out there and be good. You know what I'm saying? Anything you need, they've got their system set up for the do-it-yourself artist. Then you got the music licensing. That's another way to make music. There's a guy by the name of David Cusack. He's out there who does this. There's a podcast called Music Biz Weekly. These guys bring on all kinds of executives, management firms, booking agencies, the whole nine that can give you amazing information. And they work with Bands in Town. I don't know if you ever heard of Bands in Town.
Yeah.
But they work with those guys. They work with Bandzoogle. Those are good websites to go to. Bandzoogle, you know, you create an artist website and do everything in there. It's like a one-stop shop for artists, merch, the whole nine. They work with disc makers, all those cats. And so you've got tons of resources like that are out there. And I really, really want to encourage every artist, whether you're an artist, a manager, a DJ, a promoter, go check out these resources because there's something there for everybody. You got to invest in yourself. And one of the greatest investments is not money, okay? One of the greatest investments is time, okay?
Yeah.
Because you can make money back. You can't make time back, okay? And so when you take time to invest in your career, and your craft, and your business, you're going to see the return on investment, okay? After I stepped away from my last day with Reach Records, bro, and I did a couple of spot days, but as far as contractually, Lecrae's church closed too, okay? He did a release party in Detroit, okay? I DJ'd that release party. That was my last contractual date, okay? I walked away the next night and started my solo career, okay? I had it planned out. I had it thought through. Said, okay, I know I'm not, like contractually, I'm not able to travel with them with the demand of the schedule anymore. They knew that. It wasn't even a negotiation at the table. You know, anytime I said, listen, anytime you guys need me for a spot date here or there, hit me up if I'm available. I'll rock with you. Like I've had to turn them down, you know, several times.
Oh my gosh. People listen to that be like, you had to shut down Reach? Really?
Oh, bro, listen. I remember Lecrae's manager hitting me up out the blue, say, hey man, we need you to go to New Zealand. And I was like, I can't do it, bro. I'm already booked with my own gig. You know what I'm saying? And in my head, I'm like, dang, that's New Zealand though, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's New Zealand.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was like, nah, but I got my own situation now. Because I've been working on my business. You feel me? Like I'm able to walk away from that and not turn back because I worked on the business and I learned by watching these guys, taking notes. I remember my last year with Reach. I'm out on the road with Lecrae and these guys, and I go up to Lecrae out of respect because he was paying me to be there with him, right?
Yeah.
And I said, listen, man, this is where I'm going. We're at this festival, and the promoter of this festival is a huge plug, and I need to go network and build with this guy. And Lecrae gave me the thumbs up, and I said, bet. And it's moments like that, bro. Like, so when cats be coming at my man's neck, I'm like, y'all don't know this guy like I know him. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all, and that's, you know, everybody's not going to get that opportunity, but it's like, I've been in spots where I've DJed for this dude and he would take care of me, bro. And I knew for a fact he wasn't going to get a payday. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Like he would make sure I'm taken care of. And he would do that for everybody that he brought out on the road, not just me. That's the kind of businessman that he is. And I watched that and I learned from that. And even now I've learned, man, he like, yeah, that's my man's, but right now he got me out here. This is a business partnership right now. You know what I'm saying? He's investing in his brand by having a DJ and a drummer and a sound guy and a road manager and a hype man. He's investing in his brand. And that's what cats got to understand. It's your brand, bro. Like, your music could be super dope, but your brand that's your lifeline. That's your everything. You know what I'm saying? Because if your character and the way you conduct business is trash and your music is dope, people ain't gonna mess with you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then at the flip side of that, your music could be trash, but your business situation could be dope. People gonna mess with you.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I know all of us can sit back and say, man, why is this guy on? Why does he like it's like he put himself on? That's why he's on. Yeah. Okay? I can go down a list, bro, of guys who were featured or even once upon a time talked about being signed to Reach, okay, and didn't make it. You feel what I'm saying? I can name names where dudes they just didn't do anything with it. They got the rub. Even if they didn't get signed, they got the rub. And what I mean by the rub, they got put on features. They were being brought out on tours, you know, this, that, and whatever. And they, you know, it just didn't work out. You know, so I would say have a business plan, okay? Get a business plan, get as much business sense of this situation as you possibly can, and work a plan, understand your why, and get as much education as you possibly can, bro.
And and it's funny because the whole reason why I started Christian Hip Hop Now, the blog site, was simply to have an outlet where artists can, kind of develop. My heart is artist development. I think that's something that's lost in today's music industry. Artists, they'll record a record and send it out. And they may take some photos on their phone themselves. They may mix the song themselves. They may make the beats. They're like, all right, it's ready. It's like, you sure about that? And I think that, and your history is radio. So I want you to put your radio hat on. And as you got from Liberty and you went to radio, what are some things that you're looking at as a radio guy from artists who wants to get their music played on radio, internet radio, streaming? I mean, I think playlisting is almost the same thing as radio. People think that, if I got dope music, people just going to sell it. Like, no, you got to kind of listen to that music and see if it fits. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So just talk a little bit about how artists can approach radio. How does radio work? Talk a little bit about your history about radio. Then you had a lot of these artists who were unknown, but because of the relationship that you built, they was able to carry you through your whole career pretty much. Talk a little bit about that.
That's the key word right there, bro. Relationships. Okay. You got to network, guys. And it's so important. In this business, there's an old saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Okay. The day that Lecrae came to me and said, hey man, we're looking to bring on more DJs. We want to try to bring you out. And by the time we got to that point, we had already had like a 5-year relationship.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So when he was an unknown, I remember, again, rocking with my man Humble Tip, we would open up for Lecrae sometimes, and Lecrae wouldn't even have a DJ with him. Okay? And I'd be like, bro, like, there ain't no way you the headliner of this show. We up here with the D. I said, let me rock with you, bro. Just on the fact that I can't let you come out here to my city and not have a DJ. You know what I'm saying? Let me just rock with you. You know what I'm saying? And so when you build those kinds of relationships, when those times come, people remember, okay, who's been rocking with me? Who's been one of my day ones? You know what I'm saying? Even if they weren't a day one, who's been here? You know what I'm saying? Like I can call up, like right now, try to call Aaron Cole right now.
You can.
Okay? It ain't, but I can call Aaron up. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've been rocking with Aaron since Aaron was a child. You know what I'm saying? Since he was a kid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we've been rocking and I've been shooting him information. He shoots me his records before they come out, the whole 9 yards. I don't even have to go through the labels, bruh. Like, I don't even have to go through let me send in my email to the publishing or whatever. No, I get it straight from the artist because I've been building those relationships. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the reasons why I'm excited about being on your show, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like I've already listened. I know you're just starting this thing up, and I think it's gonna go somewhere. And I want to do what I could do to help make it happen. That's why I'm giving you this interview. Because I've been wanting to come on and talk about a lot of stuff for a long time, and I got my own show that I'm not even doing this on right now.
Wow.
It's like, man, why not pass that? See this young cat coming along. Let me pass that baton and give that boost. So networking and building relationships is the key, man. Like legitimately build with the DJs, bro. Build with the DJs. There's a lot of DJs that are out there. Rapzilla is not the only spot for you guys. Like you got Christian Hip Hop Now. Like you got One Accord DJ Alliance, and I need to put you on with them, bro. Because I've already reached out to them and asked them if they knew about you. They don't have a clue, but they about to find out. Oh, wow. And that's a collection of a bunch of us old head DJs that's got radio shows, that's got mix shows, that's got a following. And so follow us, man. Like you got cats like my man DJ Will from Jacksonville, everybody's favorite cousin. That's what he calls himself. You got my man DJ I Rock Jesus. He's on Facebook Live every day.
Yeah, he's from my state, South Carolina, I think.
Yeah. He's on Facebook Live every day. This is a cat that I looked up to coming up in the game. You know what I'm saying? You got some of these newer DJs, like my man DJ Val out of Texas. He DJs for Social Club. And Tadashi every now and then. We got so many other cats out here. Build with these dudes. Like, don't be afraid to approach us. We're always looking for new music. I'll speak for myself. I'm always looking for new music, and I want to give a push to a Christian rapper as best as I can. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Let me take a quick pause for the calls. Give me 1 second.
You're fine.
Hello?
What's up? Got pee.
You been outside this whole time? I'm still doing the interview. Sorry, I'm still doing the interview. Joyce. Okay, I'm back.
All right. That's
But
cool.
yeah, man, build relationships with people, bro. Relationships is the key.
I didn't know that. I had to learn the hard way because I thought networking was, yo, my name Lucky Murray, here's my CD. And it's like, hit me up whenever you listen to it and you find it I'm the amazing. I'm like, no, I had to realize, like, look, sometimes when you reach out to somebody, you have to expect nothing in return. Now that's a business portion of it that I do like, but a lot of artists, they just think that they're entitled. Not every artist. A lot of these independent artists, they think they're entitled. Like, you play my music. Like, no, I want to build a relationship with you. Because for me, yeah, you may pay me to post on my blog site, or I may do it off the strength, but at the same time, I know that these relationships later on in life is going to pay dividends.
Yeah.
So why not build right now when we don't have a whole lot invested versus when you're like at a Lecrae level, and now you want to jump in, like, see what I can do. It's like, that's not how it works, because you know what I'm saying, somebody that in that platform they just can't take the risk of bring you out and you're trash. You know, and now their whole situation messed up because it was like, you let him up there performing. Are
you talking about from a booking standpoint?
I'm talking about from just like a booking standpoint. From one, I'm talking about from just a artistry standpoint. It's a few different elements. Presentation. One thing I want to talk to you about real quick is presentation. I go through Instagram. I'm looking at artists, and I'm just looking. I'm listening. I'm scouting or whatever. One thing that I see a lot of Christian hip hop artists, they have a lack of brand recognition and also just presentation. You go to their page, they don't have a whole lot of music on there. They send you through a paywall. You know, they got their Apple link on there, and the mixing is trash. Like, why are you expecting me to pay Apple or go stream your music if your mixing is trash? We talk a little bit about how, and you saw where Reach or even other artists, they took their branding to the next level. Talk about how taking your branding to the next level could be the difference between a career and a hobbyist.
Yeah. And let me preface this. This isn't just in Christian hip hop. This is music across the board. Right?
Absolutely. Yes.
So branding recognition is major. Last year, there's a DJ right now who's killing it. You may have heard of him. His name is DJ D Nice.
Yeah.
He's been doing a lot of stuff on Instagram Live since this COVID thing. He's a celebrity DJ. This brother then quadrupled his following. He started out with like 500,000. He's up to 2 million followers now in a matter of weeks, organically. And his PR management team, one of his PR managers, I hired her last year as my consultant to help me think through rebranding and restructuring of my DJ infrastructure, my business infrastructure. And branding is everything, bro. Again, brand recognition. And a lot of times it's not about having the dopest pictures. You know what I'm saying? It could be as simple as having a logo. Just have something that makes you stand out to a degree. But again, all these things are part of your business plan, and they're part of your strategy. And if you don't have those pieces in place, it's definitely going to show. It's definitely going to show. So if your artist is, let's say, for example, so I got this Zoom board here. Let's say you're MC Zoom, right? And then I go to your Instagram handle is MC_Zoom, okay? And then your Twitter is MC Zoom_. You know what I'm saying? So you're all over the place, even with your handles. You know what I'm saying? Like, you've got to have some type of uniformity. It makes a difference. You know what I'm saying? Like, stuff like that makes a difference. When you're submitting your music to DJs, make sure they're properly ID3 tagged. Make sure, like, and I'm saying that because listen, you got this wonderful post on your website, chhnow.com.
Yes, sir.
Cheap plug there for you. Where you've got this whole list of things that artists need to do when they're submitting their music. And ID3 tags, bro, is like, bro. I've gotten track MP3s people, it's like Untitled or Master so-and-so. And I remember listening to one record, and I'm like, bro, this dude is nice. Who the heck is he? He ain't got no name on the joint. There ain't no photo there. There's nothing. It's just the name of the song. And I'm like, dang, man, I can't do nothing with you, bruh. Like, the song is amazing, but I can't do nothing with you because I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So properly ID3 tagging, you can do that on iTunes. Easy, simple. And if you don't know what that is, Google it. Like, if you don't know, bro, Google it. You know what I'm saying? As far going back to the radio part though, and then I want to touch on the promotion piece of getting booked for shows. So with the radio piece, when you're sending in that demo, be polite to the DJ. Make sure that you research that DJ. Yeah. Make sure that particular DJ plays your style of music. That's important, because one of the biggest mistakes, and I think this is one of the biggest mistakes with Rapzilla, they'll put up any Christian rap. And it's like, man, like, there are different people who like different styles of Christian rap. You know what I'm saying? And so you've got to know, like, okay, if I send this to DJ P-Dogg, what style of rap does he play? Well, do your research and you'll know. You know what I'm saying? You do the research. I'm not going to tell you because you need to do some work. Put some skin in it. Get some skin in the game. You know what I'm saying? But make sure your stuff is properly tagged. Make sure you're respectful when you send the link. Let me tell you what not to do. I remember I was DJing at a spot this past summer, and this young lady came to me. She said, hey, can you play my record? She got it on the USB thumb drive, right? I'm in the middle of a set, killing it. And she's trying to give me I was like, nah, I can't take the thumb drive because I'm in the middle of a set. I can't even preview you. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you sounding like. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I can't go off the strength of your word because you are going to be biased to your situation. I said, but here's what you do. Shoot me an email with the MP3. I'll give it a listen. Next time I'm here, if you hear, I'll drop it if I like it, and I'll send you some feedback as well. Bro, she got hot. I'm saying, and now I'm at I'm not at a Christian joint right now, right?
Yeah.
I'm at a sec. She gives me the finger, the whole nine. I'm like, wow. She sends me the record. Record was actually dope. Super hot. I mean, fire. Okay?
Yeah.
But I sent her emails like, listen, your attitude was trash. You don't know who I am. You don't know who I'm connected to. You know what I'm saying? And you got to be respectful because you just don't know. And here's the thing, Brother Lucky, even if you are sending me your music and it doesn't fit my format, if you did the right thing in your approach, I'm willing to say, you know what? I don't really play this, but I know 2-3 DJs that do. You know what I'm saying? One of my dudes hit me up the other day, and he sent me one of his records. He's like, yo, man, check this out. Let me know what you think. I said, man, this joint is dope. This ain't the style of music that I play, but let me hook you up with a DJ that does play this and make that connection. You know what I'm saying? And so you've got to be networking. Your name, like how you approach people is everything. Because if you approach me like trash and you approach my mans, and he'd be like, yo, man, what you think about this person? I'm like, man, that music is dope, but they trash to me, bro.
Yeah.
Like straight up, they hit me up and almost cussed me out without cussing me out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I've had that. But we've had to put cats on blackball for a second. You know what I'm saying? And listen, when you disrespect one DJ, you disrespect all of them. Period. Point blank. Period.
Yeah.
Period.
And you know, for me, I've had artists because I have a YouTube channel, and I you know, I speak my mind. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but it's an opinionated thing, you know. And I said some stuff, and it wasn't disrespectful, but I had an artist straight up, you know, come at me super disrespectful, and I was like, look, if I'm wrong, let's chop it up, you know, let's talk about it. If I'm wrong, I'll take the video down and apologize. I'm not, you know, at the end of the day, I'm a man of God. I'm not trying to do this for no fame, fortune, or whatever. And now I'm like, look here. I know the artist, you know, he's doing big things right now. I respect that. But at the same time, I'm like, you know what? We have to have that conversation before I can do something, work with you again. And for him, he thought like, oh, I don't need Lucky. You know what I'm saying? Like, who are you? And I'm like, you don't know where that person's at and that person's going. Because at the end of the day, it's like, you know, I have this quote. It says, talent, hard work would beat talent if talent doesn't work hard. Yeah. I may not be the best, but I'm a darn sure work the hardest. And we're gonna figure something out. So you got this. We talked about this earlier. I want to get back to this. This is a great interview, by the way. I wrote an article which I basically heard. I've been hearing for a while. The debate is Christian hip hop a genre? My argument is I don't think it's a genre because it don't have a particular sound to it, and the fact that it feels more like a community. A loosely based community versus a actual genre. So with you coming from Christian hip hop all the way to the late 90s to to now to 2016, you know, you kind of getting back into it now. What is your opinion on is Christian hip hop an actual genre? And I want you to talk about, you know, infrastructure. I want you to talk about booking agents, promoters.
Absolutely. That all plays into it. First off, let me say this. I'm actually looking at that article right now. I pulled it up purposefully because I wanted to talk about it, so I'm glad that you're taking it there already. And I want to say, first off, I think that the way you wrote this, bro, was so amazing. And the reason why I say it, because some of the things you said, I said the exact same thing on my podcast maybe 2 years ago, but I did not say it as graceful. I said it from, I didn't. Listen, I'm going to keep it, listen, I was going to bring the ambassador on my show, and he agreed to come on my show 2 years ago. And I was going to bring him on for the intent purpose to argue with him about some of these things, like to have a straight out, knock down, drag out argument. And I'm glad I didn't go through with that because I wasn't in a good space back then. And so the way I articulated it was not as graceful as you did, bro. So I want to give you, and listen, that show is still up on my podcast. I never deleted it. I don't know what episode it was, but I remember getting on there saying Christian hip hop is not a genre. I've got a sound bite about this from I'm not gonna call his name. Yeah. And the reason why I'm not, he's a very prominent Christian rapper. I don't know if he's still with them or not, but at one point he was with Humble Beast. I don't know how I got this record, but I got it. I think somebody gave it to me by accident. Anyways, I've got it, and the whole piece is about we're not Christian rappers. I know for a fact that's unreleased because if it was released, it would have sent shockwaves.
Wow.
Shockwaves, bro, through the Christian hip hop genre, movement, whatever you want to call it, because of who it was coming from and at that particular time. But nonetheless, I digress. I don't think that Christian hip hop is a genre. I agree with how you put it. I think you put it beautifully. A collection of people, because Christian hip hop has so many different styles
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I look at Christian hip hop as hip hop.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's Christ-centered hip hop, but it's hip hop nonetheless. And so even with hip hop, you've got different styles. You've got the boom bap, you've got trap, now you got mumble rap. You know what I'm saying? You got all these different styles of music that's fitting under one big umbrella that's called hip hop. And so I think it's the same thing with Christian rap, or Christian hip hop, or whatever you want to call it. You've got the boom bap cats, you got the lyrical, like heavy lyrical guys, you got the fun loving guys that want to turn up. I think you had one of the dudes on your joint not too long ago about getting lit.
Romy Brown. Shout out to Romy Brown. Yeah.
So you've got all these different styles. Even when you look at Reach Records, though, bro. Okay, when you look at that label, you know, Lecrae is not the same as Andy.
Yeah.
Andy's not the same as Trip. Trip's not the same as KB. Well, KB's no longer with them now, but nonetheless, you see what I'm saying? So you've got these different styles. So I think Christian hip hop, in my opinion, should be more. Christian hip hop should have been the movement that pushed the movement of 116. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think what happened is we saw the opposite, where 116 was pushing the movement of Christian hip hop. Even though that wasn't the intent, purpose, it just kind of happened that way. You know what I'm saying? And so everybody was trying to fit into that mold. One of the reasons is because they saw these guys was getting booked out the wazoo. And so people got it twisted. They thought, well, if I shout out 116 or get with them, I'll get booked. It's like, no, here's how you get booked, bro. You want the festivals to bring you out? Here's why certain guys are the chosen ones, because they made themselves the chosen one. They built their business, they built their fan base, and promoters know, and this is with music in general, promoters know if I book, let's say Social Club. If I book Social Club, I know Social Club's got a nice fan base. I know specifically they got a nice fan base in Virginia. So I know if I bring them out in Virginia, you know, in Richmond, Virginia, I know I can sell 400 tickets at $20 a pop. You know what I'm saying? I know if I bring out Andy Mineo to Raleigh, North Carolina, I can sell tickets at $40, you know what I'm saying, $60 VIP, you know what I'm saying, $100 meet and greet. I know I can sell that because I know he's got a niche market in those areas. He's a ticket, you know, he's a draw. We can make money off of bringing him out. And that's the business side of it. So promoters are always looking at that aspect of why so it's not so much, and this is where a lot of Christian rappers, I'll say specific Christian rap because that's what we're talking about here. They got it. And I'll speak for myself. I book from a man Humble Tip. And the way we booked, bro, I'm going to tell you how we booked. We used to go to Cross Movement's website and look at all the spots that they hitting, okay? And we would hit those people up. Bad, okay? What we then did was say, okay, we're at this school called Liberty University, biggest evangelical Christian university on the planet. How can we leverage that? And from a business standpoint, we flipped it and we said, we're going to leverage that and we're going to get Liberty to sponsor us. Whereas we'll go out and go do the youth group shows and we'll recruit for Liberty. And in exchange, Liberty will take care of our travel expenses. They'll give us money for food. They'll give us money for promo, this, that, and whatever. And then whatever church or whatever brings us out, we'll say, you us this amount of money, and it's all inclusive. You know what I'm saying? And we were able to go in for a real low price because we know we didn't have a lot of overhead. So we made money. From a business standpoint, so here's what we were sponsored, bro. We got sponsored by a major brand. We took our brand, right, the Humble Tip DJ P-Dogg brand together, and we said, how can we marry this brand with the Liberty University brand? Okay? So we pitched the idea, right? I went to the vice president of the school, gave him a 1-minute elevator pitch. He got all the execs together and said, you guys got to come check this out, okay? We went in there with a plan. and a strategy. It said, matter of fact, why don't you guys put us on a 3-month trial period, okay, and see what we do. This was back in, like 2008, maybe 2007, 2008, okay? Yeah, because before I got married. It's like 2006, 2007. And they gave us a 3-month trial period. We became the #1 recruiting group for the school. And when people look at Humble Tip and say, man, how did this dude link up with Liberty like that? Because a guy by the name of DJ P-Dogg went and handled business.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow. And like I said, Humble Tip is actually one of the most successful independent artists that a lot of people don't know about.
Listen. There was a guy, I'm not going to call his name. He did an interview with a very good friend of me and Humble Tips, a mutual friend by the name of CJ King.
Yes.
Shout
out
and
CJ
this guy,
King.
this guy was trying to bury Humble Tip on the show. And I got heated, bro. Because, and I took it very personal. Because even though my name wasn't mentioned, like Humble Tip is my guy.
Yeah.
Okay, like we talk every day to this day. We talk every day. Okay? This is my man, 100 grand. It's like my brother.
Yeah.
Okay, we lived together. We traveled together. You know what I'm saying? This is my guy. We did business together, good business, and he's still doing good business.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you what, bruh. His business mind is such on another level right now. I'm not even gonna reveal what's popping with this guy, but it's about to go down. That's all I got to say about that.
And
he's got this program now called Beautiful Tomorrow, which is a positive high school, middle school assembly that he's put together. Is unbelievable, bro. This guy's getting booked out the wazoo. I mean, constantly on the road. Okay, probably one of the top touring unsigned rappers, not just Christian rappers, that's out there right now.
Yeah,
dude stays on the road,
and nobody knows him. You know, now I'm not saying nobody. Right. Yeah, but in the sense of when you look at the big, and we're just gonna talk about Christian hip hop, but you know, like why everybody's trying to figure out how to make money, like
it's business, bro.
And you said something, and here's something that I want you to kind of debunk. A lot of people think that when an artist gets booked, they're gonna be making buku money. You know what I'm saying? And just break down. You don't gotta say no figures, but just break down typically what you think is gonna happen, what actually go down with these negotiation rooms, and also when you do a one-off and also a tour date. So talk a little bit about.
Yeah. Wow, man, where do I begin with that? So basically, a one-off is when somebody books you for a show. You know what I'm saying? They say, we want to book you for Saturday, May 9th. You go out, do the show, come back home, right? That's a one-off. A tour is where you're doing a string of dates. So you're doing multiple dates at one consecutive time. So you might be out for like a week. You could be out for 2 weeks. You could be out for 3 months. A tour is a tour, right? And so if you're doing one-offs, typically, depending on the event, and let me break this down because there's 2 different kind of dates. You've got soft ticket date and hard ticket date. Okay?
Yeah.
So a soft ticket date is where the promoter books you, gives you a guaranteed pay, right? However, them making their money back is not dependent on your brand and your name. Okay? So let's say Rapzilla is doing a conference, and this conference is going 10 years, and they've already sold it out. And they say, hey, Lucky, we want to bring you in. You know, we're going to pay you $500 and travel to come out. They got that in their budget, and they know even if he doesn't draw anybody to this conference, we already know we good. Okay, so that's a soft ticket date. A hard ticket date is where a venue or a promoter says, Lucky, I'm going to pay you $500. However, I know that I'm going to make 3 times that because I'm bringing you out. I know that if I pay you $500, I know I can get at least 200 people to pay $10 to come see you, right? And I don't know if my math is right here, but I'm pretty sure that's more than $500.
I mean, you got it situated, so we follow you. We follow you. Yeah.
So but you get what I'm saying? Like they know they're gonna make a return.
Yeah.
And so from an artist standpoint, you've got to think about multiple streams of income, okay? And you got to think about having a good balance of hard ticket dates and soft ticket dates, okay? I know for me, I normally, right now, the bookings that I get are more soft ticket. However, we just transitioned about a year ago into doing some hard ticket dates where I know I can draw a crowd, okay? So I know I know right now, because I'm in the Raleigh-Durham area, I know right now if I say, yo, I'm going to go do a show in Raleigh, I'm not going to get the promoter to pay me. I'm going to promote it myself because I know I'm going to make a lot of money doing tickets.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I know I can get 300 or 400 people to come see me DJ. You know what I'm saying? And I know I'm going to make a return. However, I know if I go to Georgia right now, I need to be on a soft ticket joint. You know what I'm saying? So you've got to figure out how to approach all those situations. But even knowing, like, I can't just approach promoters. I got to make sure that what I'm doing fits what they're doing, okay? And again, building relationships, bro. Like, I can't get around it. There's a cat out here in North Carolina. He books all the shows, bro. Like, Jazzy Jeff, Rhapsody. He wants to book Lecrae. He booked, I'm going to butcher this guy's name. My man, Toby Nwigwe.
Yeah, Nwigwe. Yep.
He booked all his shows out here. Like, this guy books all the shows. And one of my dudes hooked me up with him. He said, you need to go talk to this guy and just build with him. So I've been building with him for like a year. And I could get on the phone and say, hey, man, listen, how do I go about approaching a booking agency? Like, I'm not trying to, and what we're doing, him and I, is he's helping me build my situation so eventually he can book me to do shows, okay? And so you've got to, relationships, bro. Like, that's, I mean, this, if you go down my Instagram timeline, you see a picture with me and Jazzy Jeff. That's because I built the relationship with his mans. He's bringing me backstage, bro. He's like, yo, Jeff, you need to get to know who P-Dogg is. I'm sitting there like, holy. You know what I'm saying?
And you touched on something that I think that a lot of artists, and for me, doing more so of the blogs, reviewing music, receiving artists, it's like, you can see the artists that have something going for themselves and the ones that are going to fly down really quick.
Yeah.
And it's all about presentations, how they approach the relationship. You know, if it's like a one-off relationship where they don't want really nothing to do with me after I do it, make business with them and do whatever, it's like, okay, I know exactly how he treats this. I know exactly what his career gonna be. And I look for the people that I can build with because, like I said before, I'm not looking at Christian pop now or what I do in terms of this year. I'm looking at it 4 or 5 years down the road.
Yeah.
You know, so I just like, a lot of artists don't understand soft ticket. To me, I think a lot of artists just want to be booked the soft ticket way. You know what I'm saying? The conferences, the festivals.
And here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with that. I know my man Fidel. I don't know if you know who Fidel is.
Fidel, yep.
He's out there killing it on the soft ticket scene, bro. You know what I'm saying? And so it's okay. Like you've got to, like, if that's your thing, because again, most of my dates right now are soft. But I'm also thinking like next level. I'm saying, okay, eventually I know if I want to get to where I really want to get to, I got to build my fan base. Period, point blank. I can't get around it. Not happening without it. If I build my fan base, you know what I'm saying? I do a show every year out in Greensboro for a Christian college conference. And they bringing me out every year to do their New Year's party. And so the first year I came out there, bro, nobody knew me from nothing, okay? But I killed it. Second year I went out there, cats like, oh yeah, I remember you from last year, and I killed it again. By the time I got to it this past year, my 4th year in a row, bro, I had a packed house every time But this time, it was a little bit more work to get a packed house, but we still had a packed house. And man, these cats rock with me. Okay? I'm saying they went back to their schools. They like, yo, y'all need to bring out to their schools. You know what I'm saying? And I get paid money to go out. And this is like soft ticket, hard ticket kind of stuff. Because there's so many levels of it. Like there's so many different. I want to break down some of those levels. So you got the promoter piece where the promoter is saying, let me bring him in, but I know I can make a return. Where Christian hip hop made its mistake is we focused so much on soft ticket with the youth group scene, right?
Yeah.
And so that was soft ticket because youth groups were a part of bigger churches. Those churches had budgets. Those youth groups had a budget to spend that year, and they knew going into that year, we've got this much set aside for concerts and events. Okay, so out of that budget that we've got to spend, we know we can bring in a so-and-so, and we're going to have a good crowd and whatever. But even if we don't have a good crowd, we're not losing because we already had it set aside in the budget, okay? And so a lot of artists right now are trying to book a lot of shows on the college scene because college campuses have those kinds of budgets, those expendable budgets. And so you've got that. Then you've got the hard ticket where, okay, we got to make the return. But then you've got these other things like these corporate events, like people, and those are kind of like soft tickets too. There's so many ways that you can make money in this business. You can't look at it one-dimensionally because what happens when what happens when a pandemic hits? Okay?
Yeah.
My last live event, taking my DJ gear out was like the 1st of March. Okay? But I'm doing live streaming now, right? But I'm getting paid to do those live streams because I already had a name brand in place that when people say, man, we want to do XYZ, who do we go to? Well, P-Dogg, we already know. It's good money. We in there because the brand was already tight. And then you've got to protect your brand. And I even say this to DJs, be real careful who you put on and how many people you put on. Because if you put too many people on, then it dilutes, the mystique, if you would, of you giving that stamp of approval. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a certain Christian hip hop label that's out right now that's shouting out every single artist from the rooftops. I'm not gonna call their names, but they need to reflect on what they're doing.
Wow. Wow.
That's all I'm gonna say about that. And you got to be. It's again, you don't see Reach Records shouting out every artist and using their label or their name brand to push a bunch of people. You got a select few. So when they do name somebody, it's like, I got to go pay attention. You know what I'm saying? Like Jay-Z ain't doing features for everybody.
No.
If Jay-Z do a feature, you go pay attention to who he did that feature for, right?
Yeah. And looking back at that, and I don't know where you're going with this. I think a lot of labels, Christian hip hop labels, are trying to figure out ways to make a profit because, like you said, they depended so much on the soft ticket market forever. And then when the Mike Brown situation happens and the Trayvon Martin situation happens, and when you have the big dog, like you said, the big dog of the camp saying, you know what, he's kind of saying, I'm not the token black guy.
Yeah.
And now when you have the same CCM market that kind of, like, oh, wait a minute, now what's going on? Like, and pulls away, all the money dries up, and now it's like, how do we make money? Oh yeah, we just take established artists and we almost run like a semi-label where we take some of their publishing and, we help them out with marketing and whatever. And,
but my question is, at this point, how much is that marketing even worth?
Not a whole lot, because
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's where guys got to be real careful on where they spend their money to make sure that they can get some type of return on investment, man. And again, when you look at Winter Jam this past year, Okay? Winter Jam was real snowy. Okay?
Yeah.
There wasn't no black ice in Winter Jam this year. 0. Okay? And those moves are strategic, bro. Okay? I remember the year that Lecrae headlined Winter Jam right after Church Close 2 came out. He was the co-headliner. It was he was the B headliner, and Newsboys was the A headliner. I felt bad for Newsboys.
Ooh.
Yeah, I felt bad for him because like the headliner just got off stage. Okay, that's who people really came to see, but they had to make sure that their guys. Okay. Now fast forward years later, and these same people are begging my mans to come be the headliner. Okay.
Ooh, you know, and you made
because it's money, bro. These same people who a lot of their fan base say, "Oh, Lecrae is talking about this social justice stuff and he's pushing liberal agendas." We ain't his bro. You had people who literally wrote this guy and said, "Don't forget who made you," kind of stuff. How dare you talk about these things? And it was like, whoa, wait a minute. And it was those moments that made me really realize how much we as Christian hip hoppers lost our way, bro. Not from a sense of away from the gospel, but away from the sense of the core of what hip hop is.
Yeah.
We became a novelty act.
Bro.
Okay?
No.
I don't want to cut you off, but
No, go ahead.
Going on the road with Sho Baraka, okay? I'm in the green room with him, and I can feel his struggle because the things that he wants to talk about, we about to go in front of an audience that don't care nothing about none of that.
Wow.
Okay? And so when you start to talk about those things, and then they say, wait a minute, you forgot who got you here, right? And it's like, oh, this was a whole song and dance gimmick.
Wow.
I got it. Now, so it's almost as if that a lot of people expose themselves, you know what I'm saying, for who they are. And I think that made a lot of us start to take that step back and really rethink, okay, what are we really doing right now? Like, I remember those conversations, oh, well, this is why I'm doing the Winter Jams. Makes sense from a business standpoint. But wait a minute. They don't really care about you as a person and how you feel, what makes you hurt and what makes you cry and what makes you sad. They don't care. You know what I'm saying? Bro, listen, my brother, I'm telling you the grossness of what I saw. And unfortunately, for me, I gave Christian hip hop the brunt end of that frustration, but really it's a reflection of what was happening within the body of Christ in and of itself. When God, bro, I even hate talking about this now, but when my man Tedashi's son passed away, some of the nasty negative comments, bro, people were literally thumping their Bible saying, oh, it's because they've swayed away from God and their music. This is why stuff like this. I'm like, bruh, unbelievable. And it was like, dag. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you ain't got to agree with the brother, but dag. Yeah. You can't even feel a human emotion and this traumatic experience. I mean, my man R. Swift put up a post the other day about his album Apply Pressure and how he was ready to end it. Like, this is like, bro, like I'm not gonna dive into a lot, but there's so many stories like that. Okay? In Christian hip hop, where dudes were ready to end it because the pressure was so great. And I remember one time, man, Lecrae, we were talking. This is after he got nominated for the first Grammy. And he was like, man, he was telling me, he's like, man, I'm asking the Lord, like, why me? And I looked at him and was like, bruh, because God knows that you can handle this, bruh. Straight up. And, you know, we don't talk, him and I, we don't talk often. We probably exchange words maybe once every other month. You know what I'm saying? But anytime he comes down here to North Carolina to do a concert, we always pick up like we left off, you know, right there. And, bro, like, I can't wait to tell him the next time we get face to face, like, bruh, like, not only did God know that you can handle the success, but he knew that you can handle the ridicule too. Because there's a lot of people who want what this brother, who saw them at the height, right? And wanted that, but would not have been able to handle the pressure of the ridicule.
Yeah, I literally, every time I do a video on Lecrae, it's mixed. So I have some people, they are gung-ho and calling Lecrae out and saying that he need to repent for doing all this type of stuff with secular artists. I'm like, I get that, but at the same time, you don't know exactly what it takes to even be there. You know, and sure, yeah, I would love to, you know, and I think that's what a lot of people saw. And when I came into Christian hip hop 2012 and a lot of people wanted to be Lecrae so bad.
Yeah.
That everything Lecrae did, good or bad, you know what I'm saying? It was like, oh, I'm gonna do that with him. Like, I agree with you. I think that Lecrae, the fault that Lecrae had, and I think that now he's reflecting on it. And this is my opinion. I don't know. Have never spoken to Lecrae, but I felt like he would just kind of rushed into it without kind of thinking about the fan base and how traumatic that was for them, because they used to real talk Lecrae. They used to him calling out big denominations, you know. And after the music stopped, it was so God-headed. And I think that when he got to the mainstream, they saw him as that. You know, it don't matter what Lecrae done. It was like, oh, he's a church guy, you know, Christian rap. And it's so funny how if you say Jesus in your rhyme, you could be talking about whatever, but Jesus in your rhyme, and it's kind of clean or whatever, they're like, oh, you're a gospel rapper. So there's nothing that you can do to kind of escape the label. I just felt like a lot of people, without being Lecrae, without going through the trial and tribulation, just hey, Lecrae said he's not a Christian rapper. I'm not a Christian rapper either. I'm just not a Christian rap.
That was a huge problem that I was seeing.
My God. And then you saw people smoking and drinking and cussing.
And
I'm like, okay. So
it got out of hand. But I think what that showed too, bro, is that it showed that people put an artist in a space that they shouldn't have been in.
Yep.
In their own personal lives. Like, Lecrae wasn't just Lecrae. He became their God. And I don't think that, I know that wasn't ever his intention, but people made him that.
Because for one, he spoke to people. Like, hip hop it speaks for the voiceless, you know, and when it's a lifestyle, it's also a movement. And I think that with Christian hip hop, it gave that element. Like, it's some hard stuff that happened in my life that I go back and listen to Christian hip hop, and a lot of times I go listen to the old Lecrae to get inspired. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like it's music for. I agree with you. I think Christian hip hop does everything, and it's like, okay, trap music, that's Christian rap, that sounds just like trap music. Boom bap, the same thing, versus it being a collective genre. Because the problem is that I feel like the gatekeepers. I don't want to say gatekeepers, but it's like you have. And then this is the problem I got with Rapzilla. I don't think Chad Horton really knows who I am. I mean, he had one issue. I felt like with Rapzilla, the problem with Rapzilla is they put anybody on their site. Anybody. If you pay a certain fee, they'll put, and it's like, dude, like, how is this dude on here? And not only that, the quality from like 2016 to maybe 2000. From like 17 to maybe 20 to the present, the quality went down. To the point now, it's like, if you get on Rapzilla, the push that you had in 2012, 2014, whatever, is no longer there.
Yeah.
You know, so now they're coming up with different ways where people pay $50 to get their music reviewed. You know what I'm saying? You can send your music there, but they send you automatic message that says, pay $50. Or you have other Christian hip hoppers that doesn't want to be associated with a genre, but speaks on the behalf of the genre, right? in like a non-indirect way, where they're setting up communities where they you get on a Zoom call and they review your music or whatever, and you got to pay a certain fee. And my problem is that I don't mind the paywalls, but at the same time, be upfront with what you're trying to do, so that artists can make the decision on whether or not they want to be a part of that. You know?
Yeah.
Because now you have a generation that looks at a certain brand, and I don't want to call Rapzilla out. You know what I'm saying? Other people do the same thing, but Rapzilla is the biggest one in the Christian hip hop space. But Rapzilla, they see the followers, they see everything that they've built up until now, and they're gullible. And I don't see nothing wrong with, if you want to pay, go ahead. But
yeah, I mean that's I don't fault Rapzilla for that. I fault the individuals if they believe the delusion that if I get on Rapzilla, I'm gonna get on. That's on them. You know what I'm saying? That's on, like, Rapzilla has a business model, and they're following their business model and their business plan. But I do, again, I think, because I'm looking at how music has changed and how people are consuming music has changed. Purchasing music is almost a thing of the past. Yep. And so for me, and I can't speak to this because, to be honest with you, I haven't been on Rapzilla's website in a long time, but I think one of the greatest things and pieces that we're missing, specifically in the Christian hip hop world, is that how can you give people building blocks to build their business, to build their brand, to get themselves over with the crowd, to know how to approach a booking agency, to know how to do digital distribution. You know what I'm saying? There's one group out there, you know, Christian group. I can't remember the name of them. And, you know, a young rapper that I was working with at the time, he reached out to me and said, hey, man, they want to do XYZ for me. I said, well, break that down for me. He broke it down and said, I don't like how that sounds, bro.
Wow.
And I said, they said, yeah, but they work with so-and-so. I said, no, listen. I said, I've worked with so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so, and I'm not coming at you like that. Okay? And I'm like, listen, I'm willing to give you, and this is the point, I'm still here, bro. I've brought Christian hip hop artists on the road with me and said, listen, you in the car with me for 10 hours. Pick my brain, bro.
Man.
Okay? Like, seriously, ask me whatever. I'll tell you whatever you need to know. I'll be straight up honest with you. You ain't got to pay me nothing. Okay? Because I saw the potential. And when these guys come to me and say, well, what about this? And I'm like, well, ask them about this, and this. They'll say, don't do it, bro. Said they're gonna take your money, bro. They're gonna do what they say they're gonna do, but they're gonna take your money. You ain't gonna see no return on your investment. And they wouldn't listen. I've been burnt.
Yeah.
Okay. Before I got my situation when I was with Reach, I got burnt, bro. I did a whole episode about being burned by a manager. Okay. And one of the people that helped me think through and get out of that situation was my man Chad from Rapzilla. You know what I'm saying? And another cat by the name of Troy, who works with a group called 3HP Records. These cats, I remember talking to Troy, and this guy works for Universal. And I told him about the management deal I got. He started laughing.
Wow.
He said, man, I wish I'd have known you the money like that. I'd have hit you up first. Because I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Me and Humble Tip, bro, we got burned. We got burned. Okay? I'm talking about we signed with this manager, bro, and we didn't even lay eyes on her in person. And I remember going to Nashville for a week, and that's where she was living. I said, listen, let's connect. And she couldn't come see me for a week. And I'm at the GMAs at the time, the Gospel Music Awards. And I'm like, you should be out here networking for us at least one of the 7 days we out here.
Yeah.
And nothing. I said, yeah, we done. We done. I'm like, you can't meet me for 10 minutes in the McDonald's parking lot just so we can lay eyes on each other. I said, nah. You know what I'm saying? And so I've been burnt, and I don't like to see other cats get burnt. Unfortunately, I've given advice to people, and they had to go get burned. And, you know, they got their scars. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
man, and
I don't know what to tell you, bro.
And I think for me, it is, and it's going to be like that because people don't want to take the time and in interviews and everything else. People say, know your business, know the business, and common sense. So now when I see these different things that there are a lot of, and I feel like in Christian hip hop, people especially want to take advantage of other people because they throw the faith thing in there.
Yeah.
And then what they do is they put their credentials on. I'm like, all right, well, why can't it be this amount or you know, like people you for me, I feel like if you build results, the money will speak for itself, but it can build slowly and drastically. You know what I'm saying? Just because you done bid on some Billboard charts and you sold 1,500 records, you know what I'm saying? And now you got a you know, you using those as your resume stuff. It's like, dude, that doesn't give you the right passage to charge me this amount of money for a feature or this amount of money to mix and master just so that you can say that you're spreading it to your followers. That's not going to equate in streams or money that's going to be in my pocket.
Yeah.
So
I'll tell you what, bro. I haven't done this in a long time. I did this primarily while I was with Reach because, again, I was looking at trying to do multiple streams of income. And at that time, my podcast was killing. Like I was killing. Man, I probably had like maybe 500,000 downloads every episode. It was crazy, something crazy like that, man. It was nuts. And I remember I was also on like 12 different radio stations. So I had a nice little reach going on. And so even when we were going out to do shows, like I remember we did a tour over in Africa, I actually had people that would come into the shows to rock with me. You know what I'm saying? Wow. And so that was, you know, it was like, yeah, that's me building my brand and building my fan base and whatnot. And I remember I used to charge, I'll put the numbers out there, bro. I used to charge $500 to get an artist to do a listening session on my podcast. When they blocked up the whole show, but it got distributed to like mad people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now here's the flip side to that. I did not do that for everybody. Okay? Like I remember there were guys who were willing to pay me $1,000. I'm like, bro, I can't, man. Like your music is not, it's not like that. And it was like, I care more about my brand than I do about the money. Because at the end of the day, my brand is going to take me in the long run. This money going to be here today, gone tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I probably needed that money.
Yeah.
But you know, I think Reese, again, it's all going back to what can artists do today? You've got to study, you've got to research, you've got to build your brand, you got to have a business plan. You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, at this point, if you say that you're coming in, and a lot of people coming in under the moniker, oh, I'm doing this for ministry, I'm willing to do it for free. Well, if that's the case, don't get mad if you get overlooked with the bookings and with the distribution and all this other stuff, because the guys who are doing good business are going to go get those things. And you can do good business and good ministry at the same time. Because the reality of it is, whether you work in a regular job, doing music or whatever, you should be doing good business ways as a Christian, as a believer, right?
Yeah.
It don't matter if you clean toilets. You should be doing that to the glory of God. You know what I'm saying? And the other parts of that is, for me and where I stand today, because a lot of people may be asking and maybe wondering, like, what am I doing now? Like, what does the DJ P-Dogg brand look like now? Is DJ P-Dogg a Christian hip-hop DJ? My answer to that is no, I'm not. I'm an open format DJ. I'll play anything let me be clear. I won't play anything and I won't play. I had a guy who reached out to me last year who wanted to book me for a residency at a new strip club. and I turned that down. Now, I knew a guy who would take that gig. I said, listen, my man, he's out there like that. I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
To be clear, I'm not out like that.
Yeah.
I will say, I don't limit my events to Christian events only. To be honest, I probably do predominantly more. I do a mix of Christian events, corporate events, private parties, and I do a lot of stuff in my local hip hop scene. And what's been so dope, bro, because one of the things that was happening in Christian hip hop back when I got started is a lot of people thought that going to the church is the only way because the world's not going to accept us because we're talking about Jesus, right? Well, Lecrae put that to rest.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But here's the thing: he wasn't the first one. A lot of people don't know that. He wasn't the first one. You had grits that were out there already. You had, even the cross movement did BET back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So Lecrae wasn't the first one. He also, I don't think that he was the first Grammy. Now, I think Flame got nominated for a Grammy before Lecrae did. But nonetheless, I digress. One of the dopest things that I've learned is hip hop heads enjoy hip hop music. Okay? So when I came here to my city, one of my dudes who at the time he would have labeled himself as a Christian rapper, my man Pat Jr., shout out to him. He introduced me to a group here in my city. I'm in Durham, North Carolina, by the way. Yeah. And he said, yo, man, they got these events that's going on that's straight underground hip hop. He said to me, now listen, these ain't no Christian events. I'll let you know that off top.
Yeah.
I said, no doubt. Let's go out there and check. Let me check it out. So I went out there. It was a beat battle. And I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like the crowd was nuts. And it was like people are in here vibing out to the music. You know what I'm saying? Like granted, the bar was open, but it wasn't nothing crazy. People weren't in there getting wasted or nothing like that. It was people enjoying the culture of hip hop. And I was all about it. So then they said, hey, they were going to do a DJ battle. So I said, okay, this is my chance. Mm-hmm. They said, I said, I want to get in on the DJ battle. What do I need to do? They said, well, you just did it. You just told us you want to be a part of it. So this is what they told me the guy who I was going up against. And I remember, now mind you, never been in the DJ battle ever. I'm coming from the Christian hip hop world. Yeah. That don't exist. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now I'm out here in the hip hop world, and it's like street cred is everything when you get up on that stage. Like you got to come with it. Okay. And I remember at this point in time, I'm not touring with Reach. I'm grounded here in my local city. I was an associate pastor of a church at the time, but they knew that I was heavily involved from a missional standpoint to the culture of hip hop. Mm. And I said, I've got to weigh in. This is it. And I remember talking to other pastor friends of mine, and I said, listen, I got this set that I'm doing at this DJ battle. I think it's a dope set. And I said, but there's this gut feeling inside of me saying that I need to go kill this guy. Like I need to kill him. Nobody knows who I am. Yeah. Like granted, in the Christian world, people know DJ P-Dogg, and people came out to the battle because of that, right? Mm-hmm. And my man, one of my pastor friends, both of them, they looked at me and said, "No, bro, listen, that this is different than the Christian hip hop world. They'll like what you do, but they said, listen, you gotta kill him." Like they was like, you gotta kill him. Mm-hmm. And I remember we did a back and forth set. My first set was like my play set, and off of that set, it killed with the crowd. And I'm nervous to them, like I'm sweating because I'm like, I don't know how this is gonna go over, and it killed. The DJ got nervous too. And one of my dudes was out in the audience. He said, P, finish him. Uh-oh. And I said, I'm sweating because this guy is going and he's He's a nervous wreck, the other DJ. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, bro, like this next set that I got, holy crap! If what I just did him in, it's about to be over, bro. And I did a set, bro. I had his name in the tracks, dissing him, like to the music, like. I was using that Ludacris record. Move, get out the way.
Yeah.
I had move, Scuba Steve, get out the way. And the crowd was going freaking nuts, bro. Like they were going nuts. Okay, now check this out. They invited me to come back and do another set. You know, matter of fact, I was supposed to have battled another DJ that night, but after I killed Scuba Steve, the other DJ didn't want none. He threw in the towel. He said, this is a wrap. And then the promoter came up to me like 3 days later, and she said, I want to let you know that you got every DJ in the city on notice right now. Like they don't want to mess with you. And I was like, for real? And in my brain, I'm like, okay, we in there. So I go to the next joint. They got me DJ. I did a set. And at the end of the set, I'm talking over the Kendrick Lamar record. And I'm straight, bro. Like straight talking about Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Like I killed the set, then I'm straight sharing the gospel. And I remember vividly, one of the dudes, one of the top rappers in this city came up to me after that. His name is G Yamazawa. You don't know who he is, go look him up. This guy is like killing the game in the hip hop scene right now, the underground world. He came up to me after he said, yo, man, he said, I was digging what you were saying up there. And I'm like, yeah. I remember rocking that same crowd. No lie, bro, at a straight hip hop event. Okay? Cats with drinks in their hands, dudes smoking the whole nine. We straight having an altar call. Okay? And I'm like, this is what I'm talking about, bro. Like this is it. And lucky, here's what I found. I remember calling my man Humble Tip one day. I'm doing the hip hop festival. Place is packed. You know, the headliners was who's the headliners? It's a big name hip hop group, Dead Prez. They were the headliners that night. And I'm rocking the show, and the whole night it was so whack, bro. And immediately I said, this is where we need to be. This is where we need to be.
Yeah.
For two reasons. Because right now the world is looking for answers and hip hop is looking for answers. And I said, we've got the answer and we've got the answer. Okay? So hip hop is looking for something that's exciting, that's vibrant. Bruh, we got some of the Christian hip hop has got some of the best on stage talents that I've seen. I'm saying guys who could put together a show. Hip hop is hurting in that area right now.
Yeah.
Real bad.
Yeah.
Real bad.
Yeah.
And I'm out here at these festivals and I'm like, golly, if Cannon came out here, he'll shut it down.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm like, bruh, if Tadashi came out here, bruh, he would shut it down. You know what I'm saying? And they talking about Jesus. So it's like you get that respect side from the artistry side, and they hear what you got to say. And I feel like this space that I'm in right now, bro, I feel like I'm like playing that role of like Joshua and Caleb. I've been over here spying out the land, seeing the giants, and like one of the spies. And they're like, all this stuff is over. And I'm like, nah, bro, we can go take this mud.
Yeah, I agree 100%. When I do my music and like when I perform like at schools or whatever, it's one school in Greenville, South Carolina that I do a show at, and you know it's like the stuff I do doesn't fit the traditional Christian hip hop format because I'm not saying I'm not a cousin, but it just didn't work out that way. And it's more or less like when I started rapping, they're like, "Oh, you can rap," and I'm like, and you know, but I can also carry myself on the microphone. I can tell jokes. You know, they get the package. They don't just get a rapper, and I don't take myself too serious. I'm like, man, look, you know what I'm saying? And they into it. I'm talking about I'm going in and they're into it. I'm talking about Jesus. I'm talking about other things like that. It's like, and that's when I had the epiphany, like you said. I think that Christian hip hop should be amongst hip hop. You know what I'm saying? At the bar, 2 a.m. At the open mic night, you need to be out with the homeboys rapping for Jesus, because somebody will be like, man, you spit that real talk over there. And then it's like, but I think that a lot of artists, they pigeonhole themselves so much into the Christian hip hop space, which I think that I tell artists all the time, come in the space, but don't stay here. You know what I'm saying? Come here, but you need to go out there, because that's where they need us the most. And then we can start to infiltrate hip hop in a way where, like, oh, well, you heard of like Cannon. I think Cannon, Andy. A lot of these guys got dope sets.
What you think I'm out there playing, bro? Listen, I will be out there and I will straight drop a Naughty by Nature record. Everybody's hip hop radio.
Yep.
I'll drop a Biggie record. I'll drop a Lecrae record, and they be like, "Yo, who is that?" You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like, that's. It go back to some people will hear that and automatically they've already turned off. Okay, yeah. The fact that I just said that I play secular music, they've already turned me off.
Oh, they in the conversation right now. If it was live,
and that's okay. That's okay. I'm okay with that. But here's what you guys got to understand. For me, yes, this platform of music, it's just that. It's just a platform. Okay, I'm not defined by what I play, Christian or non-Christian. Okay, I'm defined based on who God says that I am. Period. Point blank. And again, the theology piece influenced my methodology. Let me be clear. I'm not telling every DJ to go do what I do. One of my cats, one of my dudes, you may know him, my man DJ Jesus Beats.
Yeah.
He's real big on, I'm a Christian rap DJ, this is what I play, and he celebrates what I do. And I'm like, bro, I celebrate what you do. Because here's the reality. We need all of it.
Yeah.
We need the guys who are like, this is all I do. And then they need guys like me who's like, listen, I'm out here creating a platform and a brand, and I'm bringing the CJ Kings out with me. You understand what I'm saying? I'm willing to bring out the guys like Cannon with me. And I'm saying, listen, you guys bringing me out, y'all know what I do, but let me bring my mans. You know what I'm saying? I got cats out here in Carolina, and I'm like, yo, I'll rock with these guys any day of the week. Because we can go out there and we know what the mission is. Forget what I'm playing forget the music right now.
Yeah.
Because it's bigger than the music. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, does Chick-fil-A only serve chicken sandwiches to Christian people?
No.
Right?
They sell chicken sandwiches to whoever.
Whoever, right? You give them whatever they want.
Yeah.
Because it's a business model. And everybody knows that this is a Christian company, right? And so when people approach me, they know what I stand for. They know what I'm about. But they know I'm not a square that's like, man, I'm only playing this. And if you don't want this, then if you don't want it's like, no, they do want your Jesus. Even if they don't say they want your Jesus, they need something. People need something. And when you use your platform, again, I don't care what it is, you could be installing cable. Do you say, I'm only going to install cable in Christian homes? You know what I'm saying? Listen, if that's your thing, that's your thing. I'm not knocking it. That's your thing, right? If you say, I only want to do Christian music for Christian people, we need that too, okay? We need it all. But for me, I've got this gift, bro, where I'm literally able to take a record from Bruno Mars and get the crowd hyped, goes into the instrumental, and I'm sharing Jesus over a Bruno Mars record.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And it works out. I think that, I tell people all the time, it depends on what God calls you to do, and you have to be comfortable with that, because we all have the Holy Spirit inside of us, and the Holy Spirit guides us in what we
absolutely
should do. And a lot of people, they don't understand that. They're like, well, if you're not that person. And for me, I look at it this way. On my radio station, I talk about, the current events. I talk about different things. because Christian hip hop doesn't support a format where you can just talk about Christian hip hop. It's not that interesting, you know. Not a whole lot of stuff going on. You know what I'm saying? Like all you're gonna be talking about is, oh, such and such dropped the record. Oh, such and such dropped the record. What do you think about
That's why I stopped doing my show.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, well, what are you gonna talk about? If you talk down to the record, then people want to cry and then want to fight you because you gave them a bad review. I'm like, dude, how is it? How? And then there's some people, like for me, I like hip hop is hip hop. Okay, people go against each other on hip hop. People rate each other on hip hop. It's hip hop.
It's hip hop.
But it's like Christian hip hop. Oh, Christians shouldn't go against each other. For what? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why? In the sense of somebody's feelings gonna get hurt, like somebody's ego gonna get bruised. It's hip hop. And I think that because we took it, it's like football, right? And you play football, but you strip the pads, strip the helmet, and you give us flags. Christian hip hop is flag football. And we're on the sideline, yeah, we may have some stars in flag football, but we looking
at it's more like two-hand tag.
Yeah, two-hand tag. You know what I'm saying? We're as safe as can be. You know, somebody fall, my bad, brother, we can't play no more. It's like, no, it's a sport. You know, Loso's killing it on the battle rap scene. Third Shot was killing on the battle rap scene. And
there you go.
Street Hymns, another person that's killing it. A Ward, I can go down a list of Christians who go into battle rap. And the problem that I have with Christian hip hop, and the reason why it has not infiltrated the mainstream, simple. It's because we're not in the mainstream mingling, letting them hear our music and be like, oh, that's good quality. You know what I'm saying? It's like this.
But do you know why that is though, bro?
What's that?
One of the reasons why that's not because we're afraid of what the home front is gonna say.
but here's my and that's true. But that to me, I see if you're an established brand. If you're an established brand, but you got to take a risk. And I think what Lecrae did, he was a trailblazer because he took a risk and, you know, his sales, you know, took a hit. But I think he's more free today than he was when he was dependent on these evangelicals to buy his records. You know what I'm saying? Because yeah.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And then people
absolutely.
And I'm like, look, I look at somebody like NF, who NF doesn't claim to be Christian. That's cool, but at the same time, a lot of his audience is Christian based. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you gotta stay in this little bubble. If you try to go out, when you see those numbers go down, and then you start seeing that support go down as far as your budget, you start seeing marketing, the tours that you do start to go down. It's like, it's a lot that goes into it if you have that particular platform. But if you're just an independent artist, what do you have to lose right now?
Let me ask you this question, bro, because you're more involved with the CHH world than I am right now. Yeah. So you can have NF goes mainstream. How much flack did he get?
None. None.
Next subject. And
that's you know, and here's why. Because the simple fact, the same thing Lecrae was trying to do, and they stoned Lecrae about, and never was like, yo, bro, he's speaking to me. But it's like, look, and now the numbers Lecrae was getting those numbers. You know what I'm saying? Lecrae was getting those numbers. It seemed like it was a switch in lawyership, and now NF's the flag guy, and now everybody who looks like NF wants to sound like him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because now he's a proven method of, oh, if you want to win a Christian hip hop, you got to be depressed. And I'm not saying he don't make dope music, but at the same time,
it ain't for me, bro.
Exactly, it's not for me either.
I remember listening to NF in my car one day, and I had my kids. I was on my way to a show in Myrtle Beach, and I was like, "Dag, this music is dark." I said, "I got to turn, bro. Like, this don't do it for me, bro."
You gotta have you gotta have a strong drink with you, and it's all his albums the same way. But his NF is a businessman.
Absolutely.
He sees it working.
Hey, listen, when I'm listening to Top 40 radio, and I hear Ariana Grande record, and then I hear NF, I'm like, okay, I'm not rocking with his music, but the brother's got a business model, and he's got a machine behind him. Let's be clear.
Yeah, but
he's got a machine behind him.
And two, a lot of people don't realize too. It's another artist that got, people think because of the machine, you still got to work your butt off. one artist in particular that signed to a deal. There's a lot of Christian hip hop artists that signed to
Toby, man. Toby is out there killing it solo dolo.
Talk about Toby. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a method because Toby he goes to actual mid level venues. You know what I'm saying? It's not the highest,
Absolutely.
but at the same time he's making money and he's packing things out.
He's got the attention of the right people. My first introduction to him, bro, was that Tiny Desk concert he did on NPR. And I went and Googled him, and Rapzilla came up. And I said, what's he on Rapzilla? And he was like one of the freshmen of 2018 or something like. I said, holy crap. I'm like, are you kidding me? Somebody actually moved away from the Rapzilla model and is killing it?
No, here's the thing. He never was a part of Rapzilla model. He was doing the Twisted Sundays like 2.5 years. The reason why I know I was following Toby in the Week Weeks in 14. He was signed to this motivational speaker called Eric Thomas.
Yep.
And so he had a song.
That's the hip hop preacher.
Yeah, I'm in grinding. So he had a song back in 14. It was cool, but it wasn't like something that you'd be like, all right, this is gonna be dope. He worked on his craft, worked on his craft. He's
dope.
And now it's like, whoo, you know what I'm saying?
He's dope.
Every song, for me, it may not be your cup of tea, but at the same time, he's consistent and he's working and he's building a brand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what he brings to the table. And
he's killing, bro. He's a hard ticket.
It's 100%. Like these bookings.
Yeah.
But he knows how to take people off the internet and put butts in the seats.
That's
and a lot of people don't realize, like, you can't put butts in seats. Promoters don't want to deal with you, especially if your music sucks. You know what I'm saying? At least bring 50 people with you if your music sucks. You know.
But that's with anything. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you look at my man Kev on stage, who's
oh my God, Kev,
you know what I'm saying?
Is butts and
yeah.
seats. And at the end of the day, it's butts and seats. And I think a lot of these artists is up and coming. You have very talented artists. Everybody's talented. But what's going to set you apart from your talent is the way you conduct business and the way people feel after they have a conversation with you. If you make them feel good, they're going to want to bring you back. If you're a jerk, if you feel entitled. And for me, I'm one of those guys that I might be in a room with somebody and I'm just observing. You know what I'm saying? I'm super outgoing, but I'm observing. Like when Rapzilla had the AC3 event, and it wasn't really the A3C event. It was the event outside of the event. I'm not knocking Rapzilla, but that's what it was.
Yeah.
Started people game. 80% of the crowd was artists.
Bro, don't get me started on those kinds of events.
You know what I'm saying? Like
that's a whole nother conversation in and of itself. One of my dudes hit me up and was like, yo, man, so-and-so hit me up, said that they're doing an event during the BET Hip Hop Awards. And I'm like, bro, listen, man. I said, dude, these events are a dime a dozen. I said, all these venues, little be booked up by in-town promoters that's trying to get small, local, no-name artists like you to spend $500 to get 5 minutes plus sell 20 tickets to 20 of your friends. I said, bro, don't do it, man. Like, I've been there, done that, dude. Like, yes, it's during the BET Hip Hop Awards weekend. Yes, it's in Atlanta. Yes, that's what's going on. But no, nobody's going to be there.
No, nobody's going to be there. And what happened is that, too, like, so two things happened that weekend. For me, I'm like, you know, I'm doing my YouTube thing. People are starting to know me a little bit. I'm like, let me go down there and see. I'm in Greenville, South Carolina, so it's like 2.5 hours drive or whatever. So I booked a hotel, went down there, and just observed. And I'm like, dude, like, why are you acting like Hollywood? For me, I can't stand people act Hollywood because two things. One, if I go 2 blocks down the road and play your music or say, do you know this person? They're going to say, who are you? So we have this entitlement in Christian hip hop that needs to be broken. We need to be humble, you know? And I said it all in the genre. And two, it's like, look, man, you know, it just bugged me. I mean, not all artists was like that, but then for me, my business model and also my reach was a little different. It was like, if you're reaching out to all artists, the services that you should offer should be to artists.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Don't play like, oh, we're doing, you know, we got so many fans that come through. I mean, yeah, you may have a lot of hits, but it's like, what does that even equate to? You know what I'm saying? But I just I like the fact that what you do is you go out there to the people, and like I said, like people respect talent. Period.
Absolutely.
They don't care if you may say a few G's like, "Yo, bro, you made me think on when you said that." You know what I'm saying? Like I was thinking real hard. And I'm like, because they don't get challenged when it comes to in mainstream. I could break down mainstream hip hop and be like, look, this is the antidote that mainstream hip hop needs. You know what I'm saying? When you have somebody like an NBA YoungBoy, that all he's talking about is pain and struggle and trying to find the answer, and we have the answer, but nobody wants to approach or get into that circle to infiltrate his. You know, we should have Christians on the front line with NBA YoungBoy.
Come on now.
You know what I'm saying? Kodak Black. You know what I'm saying?
So I think the church we miss what Jesus said in Acts. In Acts chapter 1, verse 8, where he says, you'll receive power after the Holy Spirit has come upon you, and you'll be my witnesses in Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, and to the uttermost parts of the earth. We also missed the point where he says, go into all the world, make disciples, and then he says, and lo, I'll be with you always, right?
Yeah.
And so we forget that, yes, the church is necessary. That's God's, we say in our church that that's the local church is God's plan A. Mm-hmm. But it's not so that you can go there and sit and be comfortable. It's so that you can be equipped to go out and do what he has called you to do in whatever area and platform that he's called you to do it in, right? And so we've created these rules. Like you mentioned at the very beginning of this, guys weren't using secular producers. You know, we've created these rules, these unspoken rules, and we've taken some things out of context. And again, if this artist collabs with secular artists, that does not mean every Christian artist should go collab with secular artists.
Absolutely.
It just means you need to find out what your space is. What is your space? The DJ P-Dogg I won't even say 10 years. Yes, I'll say that 10 years ago would probably condemn what DJ P-Dogg today is doing.
Yep.
Right? And so I think what happens is as you grow and you mature, I think in that growth and that maturity, then you're able to go into certain spaces without compromising who you are. Like I don't have to go in as an undercover Christian. P-Dogg is very clear. P-D-O-G-G, it stands for Perry depends on God's grace. Flat out, right? And so I don't need to come in and pretend to be something that I'm not. I'm a Christian, okay? But I'm also a black man, okay? In America, right?
Yeah.
I'm also a hip hopper, right? I'm also a husband. I'm a father. So I can relate to certain people in certain seasons of their life on certain things, okay? And so how can I utilize all of those things, all those complexities to create this platform where I present Jesus, no matter how you come at me? You know what I'm saying? Like I do mentoring, and I don't do mentoring from the standpoint of saying, go get Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Like, no, let me just talk to you. Let me build with you. You know what I'm saying? I teach a DJ class, right? In an inner city. And one of my classes is like class 6 or 7, where I talk about branding and I talk about getting your DJ name. And I tell them what P-Dogg stands for. And guess what I tell them? I tell them about that grace that I depend on, right? Out of weeks, now I can talk to them, you know, as the Holy Spirit leads, about my faith and about Jesus. And, you know, it may come earlier, it may come later. I don't know, however he leads, right? Yeah. And so we've got to just get ourselves out of these, we got to get rid of these rules, man. Like these rules that we've created, these pressures that we've created on our artists, not just Christian rappers, man, but Christian music in general. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, absolutely.
I done talked to so many artists. I done talked to so many artists across genres in Christian music that are frustrated because there's some things that they want to do as artists, and they don't feel like they can do that without getting ridiculed. And it's sad, bro. It's sad.
I think for me, I think the mindset of ministry and also business and how they can coincide, because like for you, I read that you have a mentoring program. I've not read, but I saw on the documentary, and also you take brothers out and you show the ropes. You create a job for them, and that's one thing I do
exactly
as well. I'm super big in my local small town in Greenville, South Carolina, Fountain Inn. I'm developing an after-school program. I want to be able to pour out to artist development, to artists, whether, you're secular or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, now, it's going to be a certain standards in my program that I have to have.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I just can't do that. But I'm not going to be like, oh, no, brother, you're not a Christian. I can't. Yeah. Nah, it's like, you want to rap. I'm going to give you the basics, and whatever you do outside of here, that's on you. You know what I'm saying?
Chick-fil-A saying, you want this sandwich?
But I think that, a lot of one thing I never realized that when artists start coming to me for business advice, and they start looking at me like, well, look, what you think it is? And I just tell them that, and they were like, oh, I ain't thinking like that. It's like, oh, you don't think like that? Because I didn't understand that I gravitated more towards the business side of it and the relation. I've always been a relational guy, and I've been good with words. But what I've been done was, I'm not educated on broadcasting. I just was listening to audio for so long. I was like, man, I can do this. And I was like, with technology now, you could just do it. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to, have no degree and, beg a radio station for a job. If you get numbers, radio.
Don't go to school for radio, bro.
Hey, crazy thing about it, if you can get the listeners, radio will find you and give you a show.
Listen, I went to school for radio. Okay? My first job out of college was ESPN Radio.
Uh-oh.
The pay was trash.
Ooh.
The pay was trash. Now, mind you, this was like 2008. Okay? They were paying me like $8.50 an hour.
Jesus. 4 hours a day or something like that? Or use promotions?
Nah, man, I was production. I was production and on-air talent. I was working producing for Mike and Mike in the Morning, and the pay was crap. Pay was trash. And I was doing some of the local stuff, and I started seeing the money when I got into the sales piece of it. When I started getting those commission checks from sales, okay, that's where the money's at. Like them, I remember I had one sale, bro, one sale. I was like, dang, they ain't gonna be nothing. And I got that check. I said, holy moly. Okay, so that's where. But yeah, don't go to school for radio, bro, because it's so hard. Matter of fact, one of the biggest, like, you got iHeartMedia and Radio One, they just did massive layoffs. Massive layoffs these last couple of weeks because of COVID.
And for me, that's why I got my little Live 365 account, and I said, you know what? I'm going to broadcast myself, and I'm gonna build my audience that way.
That's it.
I'm also gonna build my blog site that way, and then that way, and for me, I can give artists advice, whether and then from on my local scene, I want to be more hands-on where, I don't have the Christian hip hop label or whatever. I'm just Lucky Murray, and I'm building a people know me because I'm in these after school programs and doing summer camps. I'm talking to the kids. They know, oh, Lucky, he's a Christian. And they know that not because of my music, but because of my mannerism, because I'm consistently who I am every single day. Absolutely. I think with Christian hip hop, until we get to that moment of, okay, local, here's my philosophy. I said this for years. I think Christian hip hop needs to go back to building locally, like building from, followings locally, where if I go to your city, I know, like, dang, you know what I'm saying? Like, you doing something over here because you get 200 people out there, they know who you are, and it's like, damn. And you know what I'm saying? Like, if we in the Carolinas, there should be a network of people in the Carolinas, like, yo, you come to my city, you know what I'm saying? Boom, I give you whatever, gas, whatever, show you love, but I got people that will be in front of you, that you can be in front of, that you can share your music. And like, okay, bet. And there's a connection that way, and then it can then turn into a national phenomenon, because now these guys got followings that these independent artists don't have. Like, you have these SoundCloud rappers that's blowing up, but you have all these other rappers that's trying to fight for those scraps. Mm-hmm. And it's getting harder for them because now, look what COVID-19 has done. artists ain't gonna be able to do shows. So now it's survival of the fittest now, because we gonna see the next year if you still want to be a rapper, because those show monies ain't gonna come. It's not gonna come.
Ain't gonna be no shows.
No shows. And don't be an artist that's gonna turn on your webcam and just gonna rap in front of it without no sound system, without no equipment. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
but with that stuff, there's ways to do all those things. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm doing live streams. Matter of fact, I'm doing one this weekend. I'm doing the Christian hip hop joint. But I also have a team, and we've been talking about going to our practice rehearsal space and pre-recording simulated live shows. You know, and
the idea. I love
you
that.
know,
yeah.
And so we've got the wheels turning. And here again, bro, listen, I've got a business coach. Okay, this just reminded me because he emailed me yesterday, and I need to reach out to him. But I've been a part of a business program where they sat down with me for 16 weeks, and you know, it was super cheap. Their philosophy is trying to help young entrepreneurs in the Raleigh-Durham area, whatnot. It was like $200, but I'm with like some amazing business people who built $1 million businesses, bro. And they're walking with me, breaking down the nuances of my DJ business and company. And they're saying, okay, let's scrape all this from the table. Here's the plan. They're walking me through it, marketing strategies, the whole nine. COVID hits, okay? I had things that were on the to-do list that I now have. That's all I got to do, because live events are out. So they're hitting me up saying, hey, are you making money? How is the business going? I'm like, bro, like, I'm making money still, you know? And I'm enjoying this a lot more because I ain't got to lug all this gear all over the place. You know, so but you've got to have a foundation. And even if you got to pivot, because we couldn't have predicted COVID-19, I was predicting doing like 75 live events this year. All that stuff is out the door now. So now what do? Okay, well, now it's all about live streaming. But I'm not just going to hop on and do random live streams. I want to make sure that I plan it well, that I promote it to the best of my ability. And I want to figure out how can I still grow my fan base and build my fans. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do that college event every year, right? I've got Instagram clusters, okay? Where on the messaging piece where you do the private messages, I've got clusters of people from all these different schools, okay? So I'll reach out to their school. Hey, how y'all doing? How y'all feeling? How's school going? How are y'all making it through COVID? And we're just building.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I need something, you know, hey, guys, I'm doing this live stream, blah, blah, blah. Guess what they doing?
They're going to hop on in.
They're going to hop in. They're going to let their friends know.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, I've even had it to where I've had them start reaching out to their school to book me. Wow. Because I'm like, man, if I go in cold to a school, they're going to be like, who is this guy? But if I got like 30, 40 of their students say, hey, you need to bring in DJ P-Dogg. My philosophy is, even if they don't book me, at least they're going to look my way now.
And that's so important. For me, on my tip as artist, it's like, I realize that that's my customer base, because I don't know, it's just naturally who I gravitate to. It's like, you got to build these artists to the point where they feel comfortable with you, because like, if they need an opener, you know, I'm not even coming on the tip of me performing, none of that. I'm just like, they may need an opener, they may need somebody to do a role with them. It's so many different things that you can do. You know, I got a family of 6. I got 6 kids, so I'm like.
You got 6 kids?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm 31. A lot of people don't realize I'm 31. I'm 31. I got 6 kids. I'm married. You know, this will be my 7th year of marriage with my wife. And for me, it was like, this COVID-19 taught me a lot about just going in and just pushing the Christian Hip Hop Now blog site, really doing my brand, and really it showed me, you know, the money and a lot of stuff I'm offering right now. I'm like, you know what? I want to build my name up. I'm doing, you know, free stuff. I do have paid stuff, but I'm, you know, you building it as you go along, you know, because as the vision gets bigger and the platform gets bigger, you want to kind of have a system. I'm having people already right now paying for services. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, snap. Like,
yeah,
you know, you can make money out of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And and I think that the issue is artists now just need to figure out, okay, multiple streams of income, having, like you said, having a plan, and not being afraid to pivot if you need to pivot. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, what I'm saying, Christian hip hop now is not gonna be the only thing that's gonna, generate income. That's a school program that I'm developing, which, by the way, would have went down nicely. In August, I would meet with the church right now, and then we was gonna make everything solid, but that's on hold. At a basketball league that I was starting, youth basketball league, that it's a lot of stuff. Like, but I do like the fact that there are people like you, P-Dogg, that are doing it. And what I'm saying, like, you're not one of those ones that be like, oh, you don't know who I is? It's like, first of all, that's not proper English. Two, what I'm saying, like, people, and this, people get mad if you don't know who they are.
But I asked you that when you reached out to me. I asked you that for a reason, because my first inkling was, okay, I can clearly see this is a Christian hip hop guy, but does he do he know who I am? Let me, because I want to make sure that there's no alternative motives, because I can't do that. Because cats listen, I still get hit up. Cats be like, yo, man, can you shoot this to Reach? I'm like, bro, listen, I don't have any connections with the office anymore. Like, I don't know who's there anymore, as far as the office is concerned. But I know for a fact Lecrae is well past due getting demos. You can forget about it.
Oh no.
But so I'm not offended at all. I don't get offended. If anything, that makes me even more excited. I mean, come on, bro. We've been on this joint for 2 hours and change.
Yeah.
And we just talking. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is dope to me.
Yeah.
But you're right. Multiple streams of income. There are so many. I want to break down one of my strategies real quick that I use for me. This won't work for anybody else because they're not in my situation. So one of the things that I've been doing is a lot of corporate events, and one of my main corporate gigs is DJ for half marathons and marathons. Okay, and so those events put me in front of a lot of people every year. Matter of fact, my last gig that I did was the Myrtle Beach Marathon in Myrtle Beach. And not only do I go out there, but I'll bring 2-3 other DJs out there with me, and everybody will walk home with a real nice payday. But I'm doing like maybe 20 of those events a year. And so I'm like, dag, man, and some of these events, it's like 20,000 people out there.
Wow.
And so I said, well, it's got me back on the road, so let's take that anchor. That's a guaranteed payday, right? That's a soft date. So let me build shows around that. So I remember doing an event and this is more close to where you are. We did a half marathon. Where was it at? It's not in Greenville. What's the other town that's close to Greenville? It's about an hour.
Is it Spartanburg?
Spartanburg.
Yeah.
That's exactly where it was at. It was in Spartanburg. The group, the corporate gig, they put me up in a hotel. I bring out another DJ with me, right? So I'm paid. I booked the show with Clemson University the night before. Okay? And I did it for free. I did it with a group, the group that's at the event that I do in Greensboro, their college group out there at Clemson. And we probably had like 250 students that were in the building. And I'm doing this free event. I got the big light show, the whole 9 yards, right? And it's like, I know I'm not going to make any money off that show. My money show is tomorrow night, but I'm already here. Yeah. So I might as well build my fan base, right? I went back out to Clemson again right after they won the chip. Yeah. Like right after they won the football championship. And they brought me out to do like the big celebration party, and I got paid for that.
Woo.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's like you've got to think through, you've got to strategize. And so I was thinking, like, dang, I'm in front of all these people. I'm getting a nice payday. So I go to the corporate people. I said, listen, let's sit down. Let's renegotiate my contract. I said, one of the things I want to do is I want to get sponsorships where DJ P-Dogg can be sponsored. If you look back here at my banner, you see the color scheme, the purple color scheme. So there was an all-natural energy drink company based here in Durham. And I said, man, I got to reach out to them. I got to show this to you, bro, because this is kind of cool. So they got this energy drink. Look at the energy drink. See that?
Wow. Yeah.
The color scheme, the whole nine.
Yeah.
So we were at the table talking last year with this group about getting them to sponsor me. They ended up going another direction from a business standpoint. They actually just moved out of the city and moved up north. So I'm like, dang it. I may still mess with them. I don't know. I like the whole local feel. You know what I'm saying? Like this drink was created here in my city.
Yeah.
A young lady from Duke University created this energy drink, all natural. It's like 3 ingredients. It's crazy. But anyways, the fact that I was able to get to the table to have that conversation, though, that's the point that I want to get to. All deals ain't going to go through, but if you can get to the table to have a conversation, that's a win. You know what I'm saying? I actually had this corporate brand at the table, and we were having a conversation, and we had multiple conversations, right? And so if you can build your brand to where you can at least get to that point, even if it don't go through, in my opinion, that's a win. You just, you keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? Don't stop, keep it moving. Unfortunately, right now, I can't partner with, it doesn't make sense because there's no live events, right? But all these live streams that I'm doing are sponsored by another corporate brand. You know what I'm saying? And so you got to get your brand out there. You got to have a business plan. And, bro, what I think you're doing is dope. And to be honest, for the last eons of years, what you're trying to do is what I've been wanting to do. But what I've realized is, for me, I don't have the bandwidth to do it. I just don't have the capacity to do it. However, I know what space I'm in, and that space is, man, let me build with cats like Lucky and say, look, this is that's what I want to do too. So let me do it, but through you. So whatever you need, let me pass off whatever you need so that you can make it happen to help these artists out.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I remember making that podcast episode where I said Christian hip hop is not a genre. But deep in my heart, I said, I really care about these doggone artists, man. And I want to see them win. And I'm out here in the hip hop world. I'm like, there's some way we can bridge this gap. You know what I'm saying? If there's some way we can bridge this gap where we can get some of these CHH guys over here, not to compromise. Let me make it clear. To do what they've been called to do. But if we could get some of them, not everybody, but some of them over here on this platform that can kill, man, it's going to be a game changer. Not just them, not just for pop, but for the world. You feel what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And I think that it takes, and here's what I think Rapzilla should have been. And here's what I think they should have been. They should have been networking with bigger brands. Because if you look up, top 20, top 30, or top 50 hip hop blog sites, they're on that list.
Yeah.
They should have been linked with Hip Hop DX. They should have been all deaf music. They should have been hooking up with the DJ academics or whatever, where they're building relationships so that way they can build a platform where if they're looking for something, it's like, look, we got the people that can sell. Your event needs help. Let us come in, do our thing, and we can have a partnership. And I think the problem is that because you brand yourself to be this thing for so long that people don't want to touch you because it seems like you're more so holier than thou. Where at the end of the day, like you're saying, it could be a partnership that can be, because like I said, if even in your local city, you should be able to go to open mic and kill it, and people respect that. So why can't you on a bigger scale? Because you're gonna gain a fan base. You go out there, you're gonna have 10. You're not gonna get everybody, but 10 to 15 people here and there. And as you go around and move in your city, people are gonna start noticing you. And then after that, you start moving to your region. And pretty soon, when the mainstream starts seeing that, oh, this dude can sell, they don't care what They don't care what you gotta say, as long as at the bottom line you can sell records. But you don't compromise. And by you not compromising, you're gonna be in front of a lot of doors. You're gonna be in a lot of places that a lot of people can't be because of who you are. And then you can preach the gospel. You don't have to be on YouTube preaching the gospel to people and calling people to repent because of something that you think that they did wrong. So like I said, man, I think this is awesome, brother. Like, man, like I'm excited because you seem like a very genuine dude. And I like that. I like people that's genuine. Two, it's like this. Even though you have done all these different things with a lot of artists, and you haven't even gotten to all the juicy stories. You just been, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just basically just spitting. But it's like,
so
look,
the next time we talk, I'll tell you how me, Lecrae, Tadashi, Tripoli, Andy Mineo, and KB almost died in Africa.
like stuff like that we need to hear because
that's true stuff. Real talk, bruh.
you know what? People be like, oh man, going to Africa. I wish I could go to Africa. Oh, right.
We almost didn't make it back home, bro.
Oh my gosh. And then you in Africa. You're not in Africa, South Carolina, something like that.
We was in Africa.
Oh my God. But I think that people need to hear stories about where people in the mainstream that are doing it and doing it well, to know that A, it can be done, and B, put your spice to it. Now, don't be calling up all the corporate people trying to book, 5Ks or whatever, and it's like, what I'm saying, that's grimy. But I think that, look, there's so many different corporate opportunities that you can,
Absolutely. But there's the little stuff too. Like because I think artists like the idea of saying like certain things, like I got a manager or I'm going on tour. They love the idea of saying those things. And it's like, bro, I'm talking to a young dude here in my city. I've been talking to him, this cat, for like 3 or 4 years. And the only reason why I'm giving him the time of day because he's my cousin. And he's actually good, but man, when it comes to the business stuff, man, he doesn't have that hunger. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the other problem that a lot of these younger dudes have. They don't have that hunger and that grit and that grind and want to cut their teeth and want to just get out there and plow through the BS to get to where they need to get to. They just want to hand it to them. You know what I'm saying? And I'm telling this dude, I'm like, bro, you want to go on a tour? I said, I'm gonna tell you how you can go on tour right now. Go get the local arts newspaper with all the venues and find out every day they're doing an open mic and go hit that circuit.
And show up.
Show up, hit that circuit over and over. I said 2 things you're gonna do. 1, you're gonna probably build a fan base, and you're gonna get better at your craft in front of a live audience. Mm-hmm. And you just never know who's in the audience.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like I've gone to hit some open mics just to kind of scout out myself. I remember I saw this one young lady, and she came there and she looked like a star. I'm saying she had the clothes down pat. She had a little entourage. She had a little band. She got up there on the mic and she was trash. But I looked at my man next to me who was hosting, so I said, yo, bro, don't be surprised if she's like killing the game. Because she's got the look. And people can work with the talent and get that together, but that look and that swag, say, bro, she's got that it factor that can, you know what I'm saying? Like they can work on the music, but you can't learn swag. You either got it or you don't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, a lot of artists don't have it, and then they swear they can make up with it with their music, and I'm like, dude, to compensate for that, be around people, go on these open mics, let them call your music trash, and get better, because that way, that grit right there is going to help you in the long run. Because whether you perform in front of 5 people or 100,000 people, it doesn't really matter. The same. If you watch, I watch Lecrae. I go back and watch Lecrae. I've been watching Lecrae. In 03, he did when he did the Flavor Fest, when they had the little point and shoot, whatever, Ben Washer following him around, whatever.
Yeah.
Now, nothing really changed about his show set at all. I mean, the money. I'm talking about his energy and what he brought to the table. that all stayed the same, you know. And it's like whether he had $1 million equipment or whether he had like a little, you know, cord mic with a big old shirt, he still brought everything he had from the time he was on stage to the time he left. Now, a lot of artists right now can't do shows, they mail it in. I watch, this is one cat that, you know, that when I was at A3C event, that, you know, Rapzilla's kind of pushing up or whatever, he can't perform. You know what I'm saying? He can't perform. So you have 100 dudes on the stage with you kind of hyping you up and you holding the mic like this. It's like, bruh, all right, before if I'm a platform, if I'm pushing an artist, I want to make sure that he has everything down pat. First, to a certain extent, to a certain point. Well, when he presents himself, it's like it looks good on our brand because like, oh, he's on Christian hip hop now. They must got something going on. Versus like, he's dope, but and so it's a lot. But I think that the one thing that what we're doing here at Christian hip hop now is the fact that, you know, I'm purposely building a relationship with artists. A lot of stuff I do is for artists. And I know that, hey, that pays dividends in the long run. You know, versus going out there, because Christian hip hop fans are fickle.
Absolutely.
You know, they're fickle. Because you can go out there Christian hip hop, and then when you say something, it's like, oh, how you saying like that? And then, so we want to have, you know, 2-hour discussions through the comment section about biblical truths and theology. And I'm like, dude, like, first of all, your perspective is your perspective. That theologians have debates about certain scriptures that they may feel like Jesus said one thing. The point is, look, we've been commissioned to go out here and make things happen, and let's do it. So I think that Christian hip hop is back in the underground almost in a sense. I think that, but until somebody does what you're saying to do, and it's gonna take somebody a few years to do it, but once somebody does that and can be amongst the people, but rise, same thing, end up did the same exact thing you were talking about.
Yeah.
You know,
it's doable.
It's doable. You know what I'm saying?
People like to see, and this is, perception is when you're coming up, you got to work hard, you got to grind, you got to hustle, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of times perception is reality. If you're hitting that, and this is just an example, if you're hitting that open mic scene, chances are that's in a known venue, right? It might not be a 5,000 seater, but it's a venue nonetheless. And if you can put your dates down for a year and say, man, I hit all these venues in this past year, certain people are looking at those things and saying, okay, so you out there. They don't even know it was an open mic.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Because eventually you're going to start building the following. You're going to start, you know, getting out there more and more and more. You're going to get better, better, and better. And when you start growing that, it's grassroots. When you start growing that grassroots movement and it comes up under you and there's a groundswell, oh, you're going to get the right people's attention the right way.
Yeah.
They go, you're right. The phone's going to start ringing. Okay. They'll say, hey, so we saw you did such and such. And you know, looks like you had a good crowd. Well, you know, could you come out here over here to this joint, you know? And then it snowballs. Once it's out there, bro, it's out there.
And it's like, because like artists and the perception, like I said, when I was younger, if I seen a local artist open up for like a T.I. or a Young Jeezy back in the day, I'm like, man, he's doing work.
First of all, the fact that he's even on that stage, right? There's a guy here in my area. I remember we did a festival, and he did one of the small stages, and there was like nobody in the building, and I watched him, and this kid performed like he was on the biggest festival stage of his life.
Got you, yeah.
That 10 months later, this dude's opening up for Bone Thugs and Harmony. He's opening up for Little Brother. He's opening up for all these cats, and he's killing it.
Yeah.
And just to shout him out. And this is not a Christian artist, but I shoot him like little tips every now and then. Say, yo, man, why don't you try this with your marketing and try that with your marketing? He'll do it. And he'll be like, yo, man, that was dope. And his DJ, me and him are like, really? Little Brother is their road manager. And so support each other in the culture, period. Just show up. You know, people know that I'm a Christian guy, but guess what else they know? They know that I DJ for a Grammy Award-winning hip-hop artist.
Yeah.
They don't care if he got it because it was a Christian song. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
They ain't say, yeah, you rap for a Grammy guy, but it was just a Christian Grammy, right? It's like, no. And it carries a respect, and I use it in the right way. It's like I'm not trying to, like, I'm trying, like what we do. I'm like, look, bro, I'm trying to get something to you. I don't have a thing that you can take. I can take from you right now. I'm trying to get something to you. I got no motive but to see you win.
Yeah.
Because I want to see our people win as best as possible, not just for Christian world, but just for hip hop in general. Because I love hip hop, and I want to see hip hop get back to where it used to be.
Hip-hop,
you know what I'm saying?
Hip hop was at a place where everybody who did everything was winning in the early 90s. And before gangster rap really took over, like, you know, you had the Will Smiths, you had the De La Souls, you had the NWAs and Noted by Natures, you had the Kid and Plays, you had so many different acts, the Queen Latifahs, you had so many different acts that were winning and they did individual things, but now it's like, in hip hop now, it's only a certain amount of people that wins if you fit in a certain box. And I think what Christian hip hop has done was they try to fit themselves in that same box, but it doesn't work because, trust me, look, I can play your music. Like for me, I tell artists all the time, now, I like your music, but when I play it in front of my teens, no, because they're not going to like it. I already know. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I play your music, the first thing they're going to say is like, oh, man, bruh sound like, and once they say that, you're done. You know what I'm saying? So instead of you trying to be influenced by the mainstream and taking what they're doing and replicating it, instead find your own sound.
Find your sound.
Find your sound. You can experiment. Now you can take certain elements of mainstream and you can kind of reference it to be moderate, but at the same time, it's like I can go on it all day long. I just think that, you know, when I hear that right there, I was like, yo, you're good for the Christian hip hop youth group that you're doing that music for. You're perfect.
But not even anymore, bro, because the reality of it is these youth group kids, they ain't listening to Christian rap. But I will say this. I've been able to go to middle school events, high school events, like doing like proms and stuff. And you know what they want to, they only want to hear, you know, NBA young boys. They want to hear, you know, Drake and, you know, all that stuff. But then I'll throw in some 1K Few.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they out there, you know, rocking with it. Yeah. And it's like, this is what I'm like, guys, we've got it. And that's why I like what my man Humble Tip is doing when he's out there with the youth in their school setting, not in the church setting, but in the school setting.
Perfect place.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And
I love what he's doing. He's built an amazing situation. Like, seriously, guys, whoo. Yeah. It's like that right now, bro. And I'm digging what he's doing. And I'm like, listen, I've seen text messages that certain Christian rappers don't know he's got a hold of, where they are wishing that they had some of his situation. And I ain't talking about little up and coming dudes. I'm talking about some of the vets.
Hey, but
okay?
And go ahead, P-Dogg. Okay, here's the thing. I've been following Humble Tip. Him and CJ King had a situation.
Yeah,
like,
Humble Kings.
Yeah, and for me, I'm playing his new record on my radio station, the Family Affair joint. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That he just dropped. I'm like, bro, this dude's still working. Fidel, another guy like that, is still working. And then you have a lot of these different acts. It's like, because here's the thing that I think that a lot of Christian pop artists should be doing. They should be moving along, doing music, but also reaching the hand and grabbing the next generation and pulling them up. And it don't have to be on a tip. Now, of course, you got to do business, but it should be on the tip of, I do this if you pay me this. So now it seems like a money thing, and it's like, I'm not saying that you can't get paid, but what I'm saying is it should be genuine to know that, hey, look, I'm giving back because I want to see the next generation win versus your check. You know what I'm saying? Because you navigate differently when it becomes just a check. Now, there's other ways that you can make money, because you can always make money all day long. I'm not saying sit here on Zoom calls 6 hours, a day, but it's like, because people are so about their bread that they're missing the point that, you see Christian pop in this space right now. And Humble Tip, like I said, his business savvy, he had that Liberty record. Hey, he was doing a lot of stuff that a lot of people just, at first was laughing at. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
What I'm saying? And this is not for me. I'm just observing this as a fan, just laughing at. You know what I'm saying? People didn't really take him seriously because he wasn't where the Lecrae's was at. He wasn't where,
But here's the thing, and this is what people miss. He was. So when you mention like the chosen ones getting like booked on certain events or whatever, he was getting booked on those events with Lecrae because of the business savvy. Because those events wanted Liberty University to sponsor. Liberty says, we'll sponsor you, but you got to put our mans on stage.
And then see, but he didn't see. The one thing I respect about Humble Tip, and I also watched his documentary where he loaded up his whole van. I mean, he has a big old Sprinter van. He loaded it up himself. He drives to the situation himself. He tell you how much gas it costs to put in the thing. He's going through the setup. I mean, he put out this stuff years ago, but I'm sitting there watching it like, oh man, like this dude right here, he got it. You know what I'm saying? He's telling you his sauce, but how many people that's going to do the same thing he's doing?
And I'm going to tell you what, bro, traveling sucks.
Oh.
Like, him and I, of course, we used to travel together a lot. And all we did was drive. Then I transitioned over to Reach, and I'm flying everywhere, and it still sucked, but it wasn't as bad as driving, right?
It's sucky. Yeah.
Then I transitioned to my own situation. Now I'm back driving again. I'm like, man, this is for the birds, bro. Like I don't like driving more than 4 hours out the way. I do it, but it's like, man, like I've been doing this for 17 years, bro. Like straight, like 17 years. And it's like, bro, like I'm tired, dude.
Wow.
Like this COVID-19 has put me on the ground. Like this break, I ain't had a break like this in I don't even remember when. And it feels amazing. Cause like, bro, like, and this is for any artist out there that's saying, man, I want to go out and tour. I do a tour blog. I haven't updated it as of late, but on my Instagram TV, I've got over 40 episodes on there already. So you can go back and see the good, the bad, and the ugly. And there's one episode, bro, where I hopped on and said, yo, I'm out here on I-85, bro, and I just woke up. You understand what I'm saying?
Wow.
Because I was tired. I had got done doing a half marathon in Charlotte, and I had to get to Raleigh to do another event that night. And it's like, yo, man, I'm out here grinding, but bro, like this sucks. And then coming home at night, late at night, and it's just like I'm driving. I know my roads like the back of my hand. I'm like, man, let me just get to that stoplight. Okay, let's get to the next one because I'm tired. You know what I'm saying? Like it's 2-3 in the morning. I'm wiped out. I've been out all day DJing and on the road. And it's like, bro, like this is becoming a hazard, bro. Like I need to dial this thing on back. And so in my business plan, a part of it is that I'm trying to do like 25 shows a year. You know what I'm saying? And a part of that, like what's going to help me get there is I'm bringing on other DJs. Like right before this COVID thing happened, man, like I had a deal on the table where I was about to merge with another company that covers like all the DJ events for like the Carolina Panthers. And I'm bringing on 6 DJs to work with me to handle that piece of business with the hopes of there being like 20 by the end of the year. But I don't even know what that even looks like right now.
Yeah.
Because everything is pivoted. But nonetheless, there was a plan, right? And that's the point that I'm making. There are things you can't plan for, but you know, there's got to be something in your plan that doesn't depend on you having to be present to do the job. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like I listened to a guy who said there's a difference between being a business owner and an entrepreneur. If you're a business owner, chances are that business is dependent on you to be there for it to function. If you're an entrepreneur, you should be able to leave for 3 months and it still run.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And so if we can get guys to start thinking in that mindset, in that direction, I think we can set some people up to do some amazing things. One of the pieces that I've got is I do DJ mentoring. And so I've got a kid who just turned 12 years old, who went through my 16-week DJ program. And at the end, the 16th week is me showing him how he can set up his own business.
Wow.
And this is a kid that lives, I mean, he lives in the hood, bro. Like he's a great kid. Like, thank God he's not giving in to his surroundings. Great kid. And I'm looking at him like, look, bro, you get this DJ thing down, so you can get your mom out of here, bro.
Absolutely, because the one thing I love about hip hop now that I'm learning is that it's going back to the DJs. You know what I'm saying? Because here's the thing, the artist is cool, but if a DJ won't break your record, you know what I'm saying? Like unless you're one of those artists that you can go to SoundCloud and go through that, but it's not a whole lot of people that can go there. But they don't really understand the backstory behind these artists as well, how they got so big on these certain platforms. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it really all actuality it goes back to two things: how you treat people, the relationships you build. You know what I'm saying? And once you build those relationships, you may not be the best, but man, it is like, man, we're going to do this again. Either it's on or off the air, man. But I'm like, man, like so many questions I can ask you. I could be up here all night just asking you questions.
I know. It's been a while since I've talked to anybody for 3 hours.
You know what? And the funny thing is, I don't necessarily my interviews unless it's like an hour straight, and then unless it's a good one, I may let it go for a time being. But I'm like, man, I got to edit stuff. That I'll put it out in 30-minute sections. I mean, it'll figure out a way. But I built a super phone of artists who that I've just been collecting. You know what I'm saying? That I reach out to. But I want to, show them this as well. It's like, look here, man. Like a lot of you guys, you got to know these different things and these different avenues and revenues. And for me, I'm all about. I look at it like this. My trade is a culinary artist, right? Martha Stewart gets paid millions of dollars to tell you exactly what she does.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like this. If I can point artists in a way where it builds results, it's going to come back to me. And
absolutely. As it should.
And God is going to and increase. And I'm talking to artists across the world on Instagram. And they ask me about my advice about something. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, wow. Like, it's all coming full circle. So, man, we definitely have to do this again. P-Dogg. I meant P-Dogg. I'm sorry. I'm just, you know what I'm saying? It's that time, P-Dogg. It's that time. But I probably won't go to sleep because I'm so hyped up. It's like, man, this is P. This has been like one of the things, man, that man, it's really, to be honest with you, something that I've been asking God for a minute, because navigating this whole space, it's hard to find somebody that's been it before. That can be like, oh, look now. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, here you go, boom, boom, there you go.
Yeah.
People be like, they want something in return. And when you don't have that, people are less likely to help you. You know what I'm saying? So for me, all this time it's been ambition and like, you know what, this is going to happen because God is directing me here.
Absolutely.
And
I think it works both ways, bro, because again, I've been, especially this week in particular, leading up to this CHH throwback mix that I'm doing. You know, I've been like, dag, man, like, I don't even know if people even know who I am in this, and it's like, I don't care, you know, because I'm looking at guys like yourself, and then I've got a couple of other dudes that I'm going to be, like, at some point, I'm going to bring all y'all together, because I'm like, man, all of you guys are doing stuff that I would love to do, but I just don't have the bandwidth to do it. But if I could somehow bring you guys together, maybe this thing can have a new shot in the arm.
Yeah.
To go somewhere beyond where we thought it could go.
Absolutely.
Because I'm looking at the One Accord DJ Alliance. Again, shout out to them. And I asked them this question a few weeks ago. And I said, guys, how old are we? Okay. I'm one of the youngest dudes in the group. I'm 38. Okay. And some of these guys been in the game just as long as me, if not sometimes some of them longer. And I'm asking them, like, guys, we're not bringing in any fresh faces, fresh perspectives, fresh hunger. Like, we're burnt out because we've been dealing with the CCM world. We've been dealing with the gospel world. We've been dealing with the vision of, do we call it Christian rap or holy hip hop, whatever. We've been dealing with all this stuff for so long. We have to come to a realization that we are burnt out from this, and we need to give our knowledge and wisdom to these young dudes, because you ain't gonna have to go through what I went through, bruh.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
And my hope is that I can give you, I can help you navigate these waters and kind of quarterback this thing to where you guys become the quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? Like this summer, I had a long conversation with KJ52. We were doing a show out in Myrtle Beach, and we were in the hotel, and he was like, yo, bro, like, he said, I'm done, bro. I said, you done? He said, I'm retiring. And then he did the whole retirement thing. But he still, he would hear what you're saying, and he would come from that place of burnt out too. Because a lot of people don't even know, like KJ52, bro, is one of the most giving dudes. He's one of the most giving dudes. That's what I'm gonna say. Like, this dude is such a giving dude on so many levels. At one point, he was even doing this thing called 5-2 Academy, where he was giving artist tips to artists, and he wasn't even charging, and people weren't even taking advantage of it, bro. But I think that there is a glimmer of hope in all of this, because I see guys like yourself. I see guys like DJ King, who's young in the game. I see groups like Culture Villains. I don't know if you're familiar with Culture Villains.
Yeah, I know what Culture Villains are.
Yeah, I see guys like them. Then there's young DJs. I got this 19-year-old kid who I got on the road with me right now, who's making more money out on the road with me than he basically, in so many words, had to quit his job because they were trying to have him come in 18 hours a week. And I would bring him out with me. I was like, bro, like, what I'm about to pay you for this one gig, it would take you 3 weeks to make that at this job.
Ooh, I'd have quit my job too.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, like, you can do this. But it's the same thing. You got to have that grind. You got to be willing to build I can't hand it to you.
Yeah.
I can give you the tools. You got to build the house. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to find as many people as I can that's willing to build that house, you know what I'm saying, that I can pour into and just give, because somebody gave to me. Like, I wouldn't be where I'm at now if KJ and Lecrae and Tadashi, I mean, geez, bro, like, I mean, gosh, the list goes on and on. Again, you name any guy back in the day, you know, between 2005 to, I don't know, 2016, I've worked with him in some capacity. You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of these people are giving, but at the same time, they're protective of their brand.
Yeah.
So they can't give everybody the time of day. You know what I'm saying? But I saw Lecrae take a cannon under his wing and say, hey, come out on the road with me and let me show you the ropes. I saw him take a KB under his wing and say, let me show you the ropes. I saw him give Andy an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? And even other artists opportunities to get out there and do stuff. Like, I mean, come on, bro. We wouldn't even know who Swoop is. You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't, you know, so I've got to be in that same space where it's like, let me find out. I mean, come on. And Lecrae is still doing it. We wouldn't know who, I mean, granted, I knew who 1K Few was, kind of, sort of, but when he got on Hammer Time and said, okay, I know who he is now, you know. But I mean, Lecrae literally introduced him to the world.
Absolutely. It is, and that's one thing that here's my philosophy, and it's been like this forever. I realized that you have a plan, but you go after it, and God would send you people to kind of mold it, refine it, and push forward. It's been, to me, I think it's going to be a renaissance, and not only a renaissance, but a revival in Christian hip hop, where it's going to be a new wave that's going to come, that's going to help shape what it should be moving forward. You know.
Absolutely.
And I see it all the time, because I see that the old method, and I think a lot of people are trying to work the old method. It is dying off. You know what I'm saying? And
old method's dead.
It really is. Like, blog sites dead. I'm gonna talk about, like, it's the whole model of how hip hop is consumed and how hip hop is done now. It's done. You know, I'm not saying blog sites, you can't have a blog site, but don't just simply be a blog site. I'm not saying YouTube is not a great way, but just don't have a YouTube. Be multifaceted in all these different things. And then as you meet people, you know, when, okay, this person does this better than me, let me move back, let me work with this person and partner with them. And I already got something to add to the table. It's not like I'm sitting here just trying to mooch off somebody. No, I've been building, you know, behind the scenes almost 3 years, you know.
Yeah.
But man, man, this has been amazing, man. Like, for real. Like, I'm just like, whew, like, I remember I was telling my wife, I was like, yeah, I'm you know, this guy I just met on Instagram, you know, he, you know, I kind of knew the story, and I was like, let me do my research real quick. Even before you send the video of you 106 apart, I was like, you seem legit. Because you kind of tell when people talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, people that talk, if they try to puff themselves up, they try to give all these accolades. You know what I'm saying? And they try to make it themselves seem good.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But you was like, you just spit facts. I'm like, oh, okay, well, this is pretty interesting. You know what I'm saying? And people don't name drop Lecrae like that. You know what I'm saying? In our space, you can't just name drop Lecrae like that. Because be like, man, you ain't been in no dog on Lecrae. What you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Must have been when he was real talk Lecrae. You know what I'm saying? And he was, you know, in high school. But it was like, now you don't do that. But man, it's been an honor, man. So talk about this the show real quick, and I'm probably gonna wrap this up. You know, your mix show. What time and date is your mix show?
Yeah, so the mix show is happening this weekend, this Saturday, May 9th, 9 p.m. I'm going to be broadcasting it on my Twitch channel, and it's going to be feeding to my website as well, djpdogg.com.
Hey, send them there.
/live. It's going to be simulcasted there as well. And I'm excited, bro. I've got over 100-something songs. From Lecrae and 116 back in the day to Rayma Soul to Corey Red and Precise, Todd Baines, KJ52, Cross Movement, Flame, Thizzle, all those cats, man. All that's gonna be on there, and I'm excited about it. And we'll have the replay up on the website as well.
Hey, so you guys go check it out. And there's probably gonna be the clip I play on the Instagram and all that stuff. And I'm also gonna play a few nuggets. You P-Dogg, you just said so many different nuggets that we definitely.
You got a lot.
Hey, it's crazy, but I'm glad, because here's what I know. I know there's gonna be artists that won't check it out, that won't take heed. You can tell them exactly what you do, and people ain't gonna do it. And I think that in this economy, in this new age economy, if you don't work and you don't grind, you don't eat. Simple as that. And people are finding it out the hard way. Them stimulus checks, they ain't sending them out once a month. So you know what I'm saying? So it's like, so for me, it's like, while I'm in the season, while I'm in the space, let me do whatever I can to grow, you know, because this is building the foundation, man. So P, man, it was awesome speaking with you, brother. Man, definitely, man. We're
gonna stay connected. Let me connect with you through I'll shoot you an email. I'll shoot you my information, my phone number, and all that stuff too, bro. And we'll stay connected, and we'll go from there, my friend.
Yeah, man, you're going to get the real number, because a lot of people, I don't give them my real number, because I'm like, you know what? You're not going to be calling me. You know what I'm saying? But hey, man, that's awesome, brother. So hey, let's make this happen, man. But hey, man, we'll definitely speak soon and link up.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right, my brother. So
all right.
I'm gonna throw this